Imagine living a life where the things you want, peace, progress, strength, even success, begin to flow toward you. Not because you begged for them, but because you became the kind of person they naturally come to. But be honest with yourself. How many times have you felt stuck? Like no matter how hard you try, life just doesn't seem to reward you the way it should. The truth is, it's not about working harder. It's about working wiser. It's not about chasing results. It's about becoming someone who attracts them. And Stoicism holds the key. If you master the Stoic way of thinking, your life will stop feeling like a struggle for control and start feeling like alignment with something greater. Because when you think like a Stoic, you stop reacting and start creating. You move with clarity. You act with purpose. You stop waiting and start becoming. Today, you're going to learn 12 powerful Stoic secrets that will change everything. These aren't just ancient words. They're tools that can rewire your entire mindset. Tools that can make everything you want happen. Not by wishing, but by transforming who you are at the core. So get ready, because what you're about to hear isn't motivation. It's a shift. Before we begin, I want you to declare something bold in the comments. Write, "Starting now, I am becoming who my future needs. I am Stoic." This isn't just a sentence. It's a contract with your better self. The more you say it, the more your mind believes it. The more you believe it, the more your world begins to change. So write it down, and let's begin. Number 1. Want less, receive more. Most people think that the way to get what they want is to chase it harder, work more, push more, cling tighter. But what if the real secret to getting everything you want is to stop wanting it so much? What if the grip is the thing that keeps it from coming? The Stoics understood this better than anyone. They didn't teach people to hate desire or pretend they didn't care. Instead, they asked a powerful question. What if you already have enough? When you truly feel that you need less, the world suddenly offers more, not because it changed, but because you did. Desire isn't wrong, but desperation is a trap. When you want something so badly that you can't breathe without it, you lose your power. You become smaller than the thing you crave. You chase, you overthink, you compare, and you feel like you're always coming up short. The Stoic doesn't live that way. A Stoic wakes up and reminds themselves, "I can lose everything and still be whole." That doesn't mean they don't pursue goals or enjoy success. It means their peace is not tied to the result. They know that real power comes from not needing, not begging, not attaching their self-worth to whether the world cooperates. Think about how you act when you don't need something. You're calm, you're confident, you make better choices. You walk differently, speak differently, think differently. There's no rush in your steps, no panic in your tone. That's magnetism. That's what people and opportunities are drawn to. On the other hand, when you're desperate for something, a person, a job, a goal, you start to lose yourself in the process. You stop thinking clearly. You try to control things that are not in your control. And the irony is, the harder you squeeze, the more things slip away. Epictetus said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life." Not just freedom from chains or oppression, but freedom from the prison of needing too much. Every time you convince yourself that you must have something to be happy, you put yourself in chains. Wanting less doesn't mean giving up. It means becoming free from the lie that happiness is somewhere outside of you. Try this. Pick one thing you feel you need. something that's been weighing on your mind. Maybe it's money, maybe it's a relationship, maybe it's recognition. And ask yourself, if I didn't have this, could I still find peace? Then go deeper. What if not having it is the exact lesson I'm meant to learn? That question alone can change everything. Sometimes what we think we need is just a symbol of safety, a symbol of love, a symbol of worth. The Stoic strips away the symbol and looks at what really matters: inner stillness, self-respect, the ability to act with wisdom no matter what is missing. This is where true strength begins. In the moment you stop needing everything to go your way. When you let go of the tight grip on your wants, you create space. And in that space, life can move toward you. It's the paradox that makes Stoicism so powerful. When you no longer need the outcome becomes more likely. Not because you force it, but because your calm energy is now aligned with what you seek. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire, but his peace came not from palaces or power. It came from learning to want less. Wealth consists not in having great possessions, he said, but in having few wants. Read that again. Few wants. Not few dreams, not low standards, just fewer things that control your happiness. You don't need to abandon ambition, but you do need to untangle your identity from it. Be someone who walks toward your goals, not someone who crawls after them on your knees. The Stoic moves with intention, not obsession, with clarity, not craving. And in doing so, they find that life begins to cooperate more. Why? Because their peace no longer depends on it. So next time you catch yourself obsessing, chasing, needing something too badly, pause. Ask, am I gripping too tightly? Is this a desire, or is it a dependency? Then step back, breathe, return to center. This is the path of the Stoic. Because when you truly want less, from the core of your being, not as a performance, but as a mindset, you make space for more. Not just more things, but more peace, more freedom, more of what truly matters. That is the real reward of Stoicism, not the achievement of every desire, but the transformation of your relationship to desire itself. So the next time the world tells you to want more, to chase harder, to never stop hungering, answer like a Stoic. I already have what I need. Anything else is a bonus, and I do not beg for bonuses. Number 2, transmute obstacles into leverage. Every person alive has faced roadblocks. Every person has met days that felt like walls, immovable, solid, unfair. But what separates the average from the unshakable isn't the absence of obstacles, it's the way those obstacles are used. The Stoic doesn't curse the block in the road, they build a bridge on it. When Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way," he wasn't writing poetry. He was giving us a law of life. What stops you now is not the enemy. It's the path. Think about it. A wall is only a wall if it's treated like one. But that same wall seen through different eyes can become a ladder. It can become a shield. It can become the foundation of something better than what was first planned. The Stoic trains their mind to look at resistance, not with fear, but with opportunity. You felt it before. That sting when something didn't go your way. The job didn't work out. The relationship ended. The goal collapsed. Most people in that moment retreat, complain, collapse inward. But the Stoic, they pause, they breathe, and then they ask the question, how can I use this? Not avoid, not escape. Use. This is not about toxic positivity. The Stoic doesn't lie to themselves and say, everything is fine. No, it might be hard. It might be unfair. But what matters is what comes next. Because what breaks others can build you if you are willing to shift how you look at it. Let's go deeper. What is an obstacle, really? It's pressure. It's resistance. But pressure is how coal becomes diamonds. Resistance is how muscles grow. Nothing strong is built without pressure. So when life presses down, the Stoic leans in. They don't ask for less pressure. They learn to press back. Seneca once said, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." He knew that easy paths grow weak walkers, but challenges, they sharpen, shape, refine. If you face a strong wind and lean against it, your legs grow stronger. If you run from the wind, you never learn to stand. Now ask yourself this. What if the thing you're struggling with right now, the failure, the heartbreak, the rejection, is actually the raw material for your next level? Not the punishment, the process. When the Stoic meets a dead end, they don't ask, "Why me?" They ask, "What now?" And sometimes the answer isn't to turn back or walk away. It's to lean harder into the thing that seems immovable. Because often, that thing becomes the very tool that lifts them higher. Picture a heavy door, locked, firm, unmoving. Now picture using that same door as a support to do push-ups. Same object, different purpose. That's leverage. That's Stoic vision. Most people want smooth roads. They pray for comfort, for ease, for a life without disruption. But the Stoic knows smooth roads don't sharpen anything. Gravel teaches you where to place your feet. Rain teaches you how to maintain balance. Obstacles teach you how to adapt. Let's be real. Sometimes things will hurt. Life doesn't come with perfect timing or gentle setbacks. You might lose people. You might get overlooked. You might fail despite doing everything right. But none of that can defeat you unless you decide to let it. When life says no, don't shrink. Shift. Don't wait for the obstacle to move. Learn to move with it. Use its weight to develop balance. Use its resistance to develop strength. Use its refusal as the invitation to a new approach. Want an example? Look at Marcus Aurelius himself, a leader of the Roman Empire facing war, betrayal and plague, not in theory, but in real time. And yet, through all of it, he found time to reflect, to grow, to lead with wisdom. Not because life was kind to him, but because he used the cruelty of life as his crucible. He could have collapsed under the weight of his responsibilities. Instead, he used that weight to anchor his mind. He used adversity not as a reason to stop, but as the very thing that propelled his wisdom into history. What about you? What in your life right now feels like a block, a stuck place, a limit? Look again, not with frustration, but with curiosity. What if it's not the end? What if it's the beginning? The Stoic believes nothing is wasted, not pain, not delay, not rejection. Every setback is either a test of character or a tool for transformation. If it feels like a burden, carry it until it feels like strength. If it feels like a door that won't open, push until you realize it was actually a gate you were meant to climb. That's how obstacles become leverage. Not by waiting for the perfect moment, but by deciding that this moment is already enough. So the next time life tries to block you, don't push it away in frustration. Lean into it with a different question. How can this become my advantage? That question alone turns the wall into a weapon, the block into a bridge, and the pain into purpose. Number 3, withdraw the spotlight. Let reality do the work. In today's world, everyone seems to be chasing attention. Likes, followers, applause. People don't just want to be good at something, they want to be seen being good at it. But the Stoic knows this craving is a trap. The louder you shout for validation, the more you depend on something outside of yourself. And when your worth hangs on how many people notice, you are never truly in control. The Stoic chooses a different path, a quieter one that feels invisible at first, but eventually becomes impossible to ignore. Because true excellence doesn't need an audience, it creates its own gravity. Here's the truth. When you constantly seek the spotlight, you divide your focus. One half goes into becoming better. The other half goes into making sure people see you becoming better. That second half is wasted energy. It's noise. It's distraction. And in Stoicism, that's a cost you cannot afford. Instead, withdraw the spotlight. Let your reality speak louder than your voice. Let your results be your voice. The Stoic doesn't ask for recognition. They don't demand to be noticed. They show up. They put in the work. And they trust that real strength, real mastery, can never stay hidden for long. Seneca said, "A great mind becomes a great fortune." He didn't say a loud mind. He didn't say a trending mind. He said great. And greatness is quiet. It doesn't need marketing. It's not desperate to be applauded. It knows that what is real does not vanish just because it isn't broadcast. Think about nature. A tree doesn't post about its roots. It just grows. It doesn't rush to prove itself. And yet, when it blossoms, everyone notices. That's what happens when you focus on mastery. When you do the work, not for praise, but because it's who you are, eventually the world has to pay attention. Not because you asked for it, but because reality can't be denied. This mindset rewires how you move through life. When you stop needing recognition, you start acting from a deeper place. Your motivation comes from within. You become more honest, more grounded, more focused. You stop performing, you start building. And ironically, this is when people begin to notice. Because people can sense the difference between someone who's authentic and someone who's just posing. The Stoic doesn't pose. The Stoic is. Now ask yourself, are you working for impact or for applause? If no one clapped, would you still do it? If no one knew, would you still give your best? The Stoic answers yes, because they're not trying to look like something. They're trying to be something. And that difference changes everything. Let's be clear. This doesn't mean you hide from the world. It doesn't mean you never speak, never share, never step forward. It means you stop feeding on attention. You stop measuring yourself by who sees you and how often. You return to the work itself, the craft, the mission, the mastery. And you do it even if the room is empty, because one day it won't be. Marcus Aurelius ruled millions, but he wrote to himself. His most powerful words weren't speeches to crowds. They were private reflections in his journal. No hashtags, no audience, just raw truth. And yet, those quiet words echo through history louder than any shout. Why? Because they were real. This is what happens when you remove the need to perform. You create space for depth. You stop proving and start improving. You stop competing for recognition and start aligning with purpose. In this silence, something powerful happens. life begins to respond, not to your noise, but to your substance. People start to notice without you asking them to. Opportunities arrive without you chasing them. Why? Because nature, like people, is drawn to what is stable, strong, and quiet. No one is inspired by desperation, but everyone is moved by calm certainty. So take a look at your habits. Are you posting to be seen or building to be solid? Are you chasing trends or cultivating timelessness? The Stoic knows that what is loud today is often forgotten tomorrow, but what is quietly excellent becomes legacy. Withdraw the spotlight. Redirect that energy inward, into skill, into consistency, into purpose, and soon you'll discover the power of not needing to be seen to be valuable. Because the Stoic doesn't scream, "Look at me." They whisper to themselves, "Let my work speak." And in time, it does. Number 4, harness the law of inner economy. Your energy is not unlimited. Every thought you think, every word you speak, every emotion you feed, it all costs something. And yet, most people spend their inner energy like it's free. They waste it on things they cannot control, on arguments that don't matter, on imaginary scenarios that will never happen. The Stoic doesn't live that way. The Stoic treats energy like gold, precious, measured, protected. This is the law of inner economy. And once you understand it, everything in your life begins to shift. Most people wake up and instantly go into debt, mentally and emotionally. They worry about the news. They complain about traffic. They argue with strangers online. They replay old conversations in their head, hoping to rewrite the past. All of that costs energy. And by the time they actually get to what matters, family, work, purpose, they have nothing left to give. But not the Stoic. The Stoic knows your focus is your fortune, and you only have so much of it to spend. So they ask, before giving their attention away, is this worth it? Will this move me forward? Or is it just noise? This is how a Stoic builds strength, not just through discipline, but through discretion. They don't just act wisely, they think wisely. They guard their inner life like a philosopher-accountant. Everything must be accounted for. Every thought must pass the audit. The first question is simple. Is this in my control? If the answer is no, it's not worth the cost. Marcus Aurelius faced war, betrayal, and sickness. But his journals are not filled with complaints. They are filled with clarity. Again and again, he returned to the same principle. Focus only on what you control, because when you do that, you stop leaking energy into things that cannot be changed, and you start building momentum where you can make a difference. Try this in your own life. Look at your thoughts like transactions. Every time you overthink something you can't change, you spend. Every time you complain about someone who isn't listening, you spend. Every time you distract yourself to avoid discomfort, you spend. The result? Mental bankruptcy, emotional exhaustion, spiritual depletion. But what if you started saving that energy? What if you stopped reacting to everything? What if you paused before feeding every impulse, every irritation, every craving? That's the Stoic way. Inner economy isn't about being cold or emotionless. It's about being responsible. It's about choosing where your life force goes. Because if it goes everywhere, it goes nowhere. Seneca once wrote, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Why? Because most people are constantly spending their peace on future worries, past regrets, or meaningless drama. The Stoic refuses to make that trade. They understand that peace isn't found, it's protected. So, how do you protect it? You audit your inputs. You ask yourself, is this thought useful? Is this worry productive? Is this reaction necessary? And if the answer is no, you let it go, without guilt, without explanation, without needing approval. This creates margin. It creates stillness. It creates alignment. And when your energy is no longer scattered, it begins to concentrate. That's when power begins to return. That's when clarity rises. That's when results begin to find you. Because the person who is no longer distracted becomes magnetic. They walk into a room and don't need to prove anything. They've conserved their strength. They've mastered their state. They radiate calm in a world that burns itself out with noise. This is the essence of the inner economy. Stop spending on what doesn't repay you. Start investing in what builds you. Instead of venting your anger, pause. Instead of chasing the last word, listen. Instead of fearing what may happen, act on what can happen. Even your thoughts must earn their place in your mind, because not every emotion deserves your energy. Not every worry deserves your attention. Not every opinion deserves your reply. The Stoic knows, when your energy is protected, it begins to work for you. It accumulates. And as it does, something strange and powerful happens. Outcomes begin to shift. Not because you force them, but because you are no longer scattering your power. You are focused, aligned, awake. Most people feel tired not because they did too much, but because they thought too much about the wrong things. They weren't active. They were reactive. They didn't use energy. They lost it. But when you become conscious of your spending, you start building a surplus of calm, a surplus of discipline, a surplus of clarity. And from that surplus, new outcomes emerge. So take this seriously. Guard your energy like your life depends on it, because it does. Withdraw it from people who drain it. Reclaim it from thoughts that steal it. Refuse to give it away to things that are already outside your control, because the Stoic doesn't burn out. They burn steady. Number 5, make yourself unshakable, not unstoppable. Everyone wants to be unstoppable. It sounds powerful. It sounds heroic. But here's the truth. The Stoic understands, unstoppable is a myth. No one is. Everyone eventually hits a wall. Life throws storms, loss, failure, heartbreak. No matter how hard you push, something will one day stop you. And when that day comes, what matters isn't your speed, your momentum, or your strength. What matters is your center. That's why the Stoic doesn't chase being unstoppable. They chase being unshakable. Unshakable means this: even when life slams on the brakes, you don't break. Even when the world around you collapses, your foundation holds. Even when the plans fall apart, you do not. That's where real strength lives, not in how far you can run, but in how deep your roots go. Think about a tree in a storm. The wind howls, branches bend, leaves tear off. But if the roots are deep enough, the tree still stands. That's what Stoicism builds. Not noise, not bravado, but quiet, deep resilience that holds when everything else falls. The world is full of people trying to move faster, climb higher, dominate louder. But that kind of power cracks the moment resistance shows up. That kind of unstoppable only works in fair weather. The Stoic trains for something else. They train for storms. Marcus Aurelius didn't rule in peaceful times. He ruled in chaos, war, plague, betrayal, but still, he remained calm. Not because he stopped bad things from happening, but because he stopped himself from being shaken by them. That's Stoicism. It's not about control over the world, it's about control over the self. And here's where it gets interesting. People feel that energy. When you're unshakable, you don't have to say much. People sense it. They trust it. They're drawn to it. Because in a panicked world, calm is rare. Calm is magnetic. Think of the last time you were around someone who was grounded, steady, clear, even under pressure. Didn't you feel safer around them? Didn't you trust them more? That's the effect of unshakability. It speaks without noise, it leads without force, and in that silence, opportunities come. Not out of desperation, but out of alignment. Now ask yourself, are you chasing noise or depth? Are you building a version of yourself that can go fast, or one that can survive a storm? The Stoic answers this by turning inward every day, not to rehearse power, but to prepare for power. Power that stays steady even in pain. Power that doesn't panic when plans collapse. Power that remains rooted when everything else gets pulled apart. You don't become this way by accident. You become it by practice. You train it like a muscle. When things go wrong, you breathe instead of react. When you're insulted, you respond with silence, not ego. When you're delayed, you use the time to observe, not to fume. These small moments build the deeper foundation, and when repeated, they create a mind that doesn't crack when tested. Because life will test you, it's not a matter of if, but when. People will disappoint you. Circumstances will frustrate you. Goals will take longer than expected. But none of that has to shake you if you've built yourself on inner truth, not outer speed. The Stoic prepares every day to face life without guarantees. That's what unshakability means. You stop needing the world to behave. You stop needing the timeline to match your plan. You stop needing constant momentum just to feel like you matter. You stand tall, whether things move or not. And this is the paradox. When you stop trying to be unstoppable, you gain something far greater: stability. And stability moves mountains. It draws in trust from people and from fate. It gives you patience. It gives you poise. And in that poise, power grows, not rushed, not loud, but rooted. So next time you feel stuck or slowed down, don't panic. Ask, can I hold this moment without losing myself? That's the true test. Unstoppable is a sprint. Unshakable is a legacy, and the Stoic always chooses legacy. Number 6. Train desire to obey values. Desire itself isn't the enemy. The Stoic doesn't pretend to be made of stone. The heart wants. The mind dreams. That's human. What separates the Stoic from the frantic world around them is not the absence of desire. It's the discipline to direct it. Most people let their desires run wild. Like an untrained horse, their want pulls them in every direction: fame, money, status, validation. They wake up chasing something, and by the end of the day, they've either gotten lost, exhausted, or bitter. Why? Because their desire wasn't rooted in anything solid. The Stoic handles this differently. They don't kill desire. They train it. They ask, what do I want? And then they ask, why do I want it? And if the reason doesn't align with their core values, honor, integrity, purpose, they let it go or redirect it. This is the switch that changes everything. When desire obeys values, it becomes fuel instead of fire. It moves you forward without burning you up. It energizes you without enslaving you. And more than anything, it builds a life that lasts, because it was never built on craving, but on clarity. Let's take a simple example. Applause. Most people want to be seen, admired, praised. But the Stoic understands that applause is a shadow. It looks like substance, but it disappears the moment the lights go off. So instead of chasing recognition, the Stoic trains that desire toward integrity. They say, "Let me want to be good, not just look good. Let me want to act rightly, even if no one notices. Let me seek to live in line with my principles, not with the crowd's opinions." That shift doesn't kill ambition. It elevates it. Or take wealth. Most chase it blindly. They want more, faster, bigger. But again, the Stoic steps back and asks, what do I actually want? Often, it's not money. It's peace. It's freedom. It's the ability to provide, to contribute, to shape a meaningful life. So they redirect the desire. Let me be useful. Let me create value. Let me serve wisely. And ironically, wealth often follows, because usefulness is the soil that success grows in. This is the power of the Stoic switch. The desire doesn't vanish. It transforms. It takes a new form, one that honors the soul instead of inflating the ego. Marcus Aurelius wrote to himself, "Let your one delight be the work of the human being, not praise, not riches, the work. Because the work is within your control. The values are within your reach. And when you align your want with your worth, your life begins to build itself around something unbreakable." Now think about your own life. What do you want right now? More success? More attention? A relationship? A breakthrough? Pause and ask, what is the value behind that want? If there isn't one, if it's just hunger for more, you're heading for burnout. But if there is a value, truth, contribution, creativity, resilience, then desire becomes a tool. It sharpens you. It moves you. It strengthens your character as it chases results. And here's the secret. When outcomes are driven by character, they last. They don't collapse when circumstances shift. They don't vanish when the spotlight moves. Because they were never built on desperation. They were built on design. Seneca said, "If one does not know to which port one is sailing, no wind is favorable." The Stoic always knows their port. Their values are the destination. Desire is the ship. And because the ship obeys the compass, they stay on course, while the rest of the world crashes against the rocks of random craving. This doesn't mean you stop wanting. It means you upgrade what you want. From status to substance, from applause to alignment, from quick wins to deep roots. The world will tempt you constantly. It will whisper, "Want this now, want more, want louder." But the Stoic pauses, checks the compass and asks, "Does this serve who I'm becoming?" If yes, they pursue it with fire. If no, they release it with grace. Because the Stoic doesn't let desire lead, they make it follow. Number 7. Channel the logos through daily ritual. There is an invisible order behind everything. The Stoics called it the logos, the rational principle, the divine intelligence that holds the universe together. It's not something you can touch, but you can feel it in nature, in timing, in truth. The Stoic doesn't try to control the logos. They don't force life to bend. Instead, they tune themselves to it. and they do that through daily ritual. Think about it like this. Chaos is the default state of an undisciplined mind. But order doesn't just arrive. You have to create it. And the way the Stoic creates order within is by mirroring the order outside. The sun rises and sets. The seasons follow each other. The tides move with the moon. The Logos is rhythm. So the Stoic builds rhythm in their own life, not as superstition, but as synchronization. This is why ritual matters. Not routine for routine's sake, but rituals with purpose. Journaling, morning reflection, evening review, moments of silence, intentional breathing, all simple, small acts, but each one becomes a tuning fork. Each one says to the universe, I am in alignment. Take the morning, for example. The Stoic doesn't just wake up and dive into chaos. They wake with resolve. Marcus Aurelius would write to himself each morning, preparing his mind for the day ahead. He reminded himself that people would be rude, that setbacks would happen, that life would test him. And by doing this, he didn't armor himself with denial. He synchronized with truth. He stepped into the current instead of thrashing against it. That's Logos. At night, he did the opposite. He looked back, not to shame himself, not to obsess, but to understand. To ask, where did I act with reason today? Where did I lose control? Where can I grow tomorrow? That small act of reflection became a compass reset. And over time, those resets shape a person into someone unshakable. Now think about your own day. How much of it is noise? How much is you reacting to the world instead of aligning with it? A Stoic doesn't rush into life. They enter it with intention, with design, and they use rituals as anchors, moments that pull them back to center. It doesn't have to be dramatic. It can be 10 minutes in the morning with a journal, 5 minutes at night in stillness, a walk without your phone, a quote you repeat before making a hard decision. Each of these is a small alignment, a moment of tuning to something higher. Because when your inner life matches the order of nature, life stops resisting you. Things start to move, not because you manipulated them, but because you stopped working against them. You've probably felt this before, those days where everything just clicks. The right words come to you, the right person calls. The next step feels obvious. That's not luck, that's alignment. That's Logos responding to your inner clarity. The opposite is true too. When you're scattered inside, unanchored, reactive, disconnected, everything becomes harder. Even small tasks feel heavy. Even good opportunities slip through your fingers. That's what happens when you're out of sync. So the Stoic uses ritual to stay in sync. They don't rely on emotion. They rely on rhythm. Morning, set the tone. Midday, reset if needed. Evening, reflect and realign. It's not control, it's harmony. It's not force, it's flow. Seneca once said, "Order your soul, reduce your wants, live in harmony with nature." That starts with a decision to treat your day not as chaos to survive, but as a structure to refine. And rituals are how you do that. They are not chores, they are bridges between your mind and the Logos, between your will and the rhythm of life. And when you cross that bridge daily, something subtle but powerful begins to shift. You stop chasing, you stop pushing, you start moving with, and suddenly things open. The conversation you needed happens. The idea you were missing arrives. The strength you were waiting for wakes up inside you. Not by accident, not by luck, but by harmony. So don't underestimate the power of small, steady rituals. They are how the Stoic plugs into the wisdom of the universe, not with noise, but with quiet rhythm. Number 8. Let silence make the first move. We live in a world that rewards speed. Speak quickly, react instantly, post now, think later. But the Stoic doesn't move like that. They don't rush to fill silence. They don't scramble to be heard. Before they speak, before they act, they pause. And in that pause, something powerful happens. Noise fades, clarity rises, and the person who pauses first gains the strongest voice. This is the hidden power of silence. It's not weakness, it's not hesitation, it's discipline. Because silence is not the absence of action, it's the birthplace of wise action. Before the Stoic responds, they observe. They feel the urge to reply, to defend, to argue. But they don't. Not yet. They wait. They let silence stretch. Because that stretch filters impulse from truth. It separates the ego from the principle. It gives space for wisdom to catch up before the mouth starts moving. And here's what most people don't realize. Silence is magnetic. The loudest person rarely commands the most respect. It's the one who waits, who listens, who doesn't rush to impress. That person draws the room toward them. In a world addicted to sound, silence becomes signal. Think of the last time someone paused before responding to you. Really paused, didn't interrupt, didn't fill the gap with noise, didn't talk just to avoid discomfort. How did it make you feel? Probably seen, respected, maybe even a little uncertain. What are they thinking? That's the power of silence. It builds gravity, it creates mystery, and it gives your words weight when they finally come. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself, "You always own the option of having no opinion." Not because he was indifferent, but because he understood that most reactions aren't truth. They're just noise. The Stoic lets others talk first. They let the storm blow through. And then, only when it's clear, they step in with a few precise words. No wasted energy, no defensive scrambling, just calm clarity. And people notice, they trust it. Because in a world where everyone is trying to be heard, the person who waits becomes the one who actually gets through. Try it. The next time someone offends you, pause. The next time you're asked a hard question, pause. The next time you feel the need to explain yourself, pause. Let silence do the heavy lifting first. It will expose the real issue. It will calm your breath. It will bring your mind back to center. And most of the time, it will make your next move 10 times more powerful. Seneca once said, "No man was ever wise by chance." Wisdom is not reactive. It's deliberate. It waits. It studies. And then it speaks. Not from the wound, but from the principle. That's what Stoic silence is. It's not passive. It's not weak. It's strategic. It's grounded. And in that grounding, influence grows. Because people aren't drawn to noise. They're drawn to presence. And presence speaks loudest when it says nothing, until it has something worth saying. So when others rush to reply, you wait. When others panic, you pause. When others fill the air, you hold your ground. And in doing so, you become the anchor in the storm. Let silence be your first move. Then let wisdom choose the next one. Number 9. Starve what doesn't serve you. People often believe growth is about adding more knowledge, more effort, more habits. But the Stoic sees it differently. Real transformation begins with subtraction. not with doing more, but with doing less of what weakens you. Less envy, less distraction, less self-pity. Not by fighting these emotions, but by starving them of what they crave most, your attention. The Stoic doesn't waste time wrestling with every thought or impulse. They understand that not everything deserves a response. Not every emotion deserves a stage. Some things don't need to be conquered. They just need to be ignored until they wither. Think of it like a fire. If you stop feeding it wood, it burns out. Even the strongest flames can't survive without fuel. Envy, resentment, insecurity, these are emotional fires. And what keeps them alive is focus. The more you feed them with attention, repetition, in a debate, the more they burn. The Stoic breaks this cycle. They remove the fuel. They starve what doesn't serve. It starts small. A bitter thought arises. The Stoic doesn't argue with it. They see it for what it is, noise, a passing cloud, and instead of engaging, they redirect, back to the present, back to what they can control. The thought may return, but without your interest, it weakens. Day by day, it loses grip. This is emotional discipline, not dramatic, but surgical. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That means your strength lies not in controlling what arises, but in controlling what stays. And what stays depends on what you feed. Here's the truth. Every moment you spend replaying an old insult, comparing your life to someone else's, or wallowing in self-pity, you're feeding a parasite. And that parasite grows by draining your focus, your mood, your willpower. It does nothing for you. It builds nothing. It just feeds on you. So what's the Stoic solution? Starve it. Starve the comparisons. When you see someone doing better, don't spiral. Shift attention to your own work. Starve the need to be right. When you feel the urge to win an argument, pause and ask, will this matter tomorrow? Starve the story that says you're behind, broken, or not enough. Every time you play that script, you reinforce it. Cut the script. Rewrite the scene. Not with violence, not with shame. Just quiet, firm starvation. Because you don't kill a weed by yelling at it. You kill it by not watering it. And something beautiful happens in the silence left behind. When you stop giving energy to weakness, strength naturally fills the space. You don't have to force it. You don't even have to understand it fully. You just have to clear the way. In the space where envy once lived, gratitude can grow. In the space where fear once screamed, confidence can breathe. In the space where distraction once ruled, focus can sharpen. This isn't about becoming emotionless. It's about becoming selective. The Stoic doesn't deny their feelings, but they deny certain feelings the right to lead. They draw a line and say, only what serves me crosses this line. And here's the part no one tells you. The first days of starving a toxic pattern are hard. It's uncomfortable. Your mind will beg you to feed it again. But if you hold, if you stay still and quiet and firm, it will pass. The parasite will weaken, and in its place, something stronger will rise. Not overnight, but with time. This is why Stoicism works. Not because it gives you a motivational high, but because it gives you a method, a quiet, patient, ruthless method for cleaning your inner world. So the next time a thought comes that drains your peace, don't fight it. Don't fear it. Just turn away. Let it starve. The mind is a garden. What you feed grows. What you ignore fades. The Stoic becomes strong not by fighting every shadow, but by turning toward the light and leaving the shadows behind to starve in silence. Number 10. See time as a moral test, not a calendar. People glance at clocks, check dates, mark calendars. Time to them is something external, just numbers on a screen or squares on a planner. But to the Stoic, time is something far deeper. It's not just a schedule, it's not just a tool, it's a test, a moral one, a reflection of character. Because every passing hour asks you a silent question. Are you honoring your potential or betraying it? This question changes everything. It turns minutes into mirrors. It makes every day not just a chance to be busy, but a chance to live with integrity. And that's why the Stoic doesn't waste time, not because they fear being unproductive, but because they refuse to disrespect the gift they've been given. Seneca said it best. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Most people think they need more time. The Stoic thinks differently. The problem isn't time. The problem is how we use it. When you treat time as infinite, it becomes meaningless. Days blur together. Procrastination becomes natural. Laziness feels justified. You tell yourself, I'll get to it tomorrow, without realizing that tomorrow is a contract you haven't signed yet. But when time becomes a moral test, when you ask yourself, did I honor this hour? Everything sharpens. Suddenly, scrolling endlessly feels like theft, not from others, but from yourself. Suddenly, complaining about delays feels hollow, because every minute you spend complaining is another minute lost. Suddenly, waiting for the right moment becomes foolish, because the moment you have is already asking for your action. The Stoic doesn't see time as neutral. It's sacred. It's earned. And how you use it reveals who you really are. This doesn't mean you have to rush. It doesn't mean you never rest. Stoicism isn't about speed. It's about respect. Respect for your potential, respect for your purpose, and respect for the truth that once a moment passes, it never comes back. So the Stoic lives with urgency, but not with panic. They live as if each hour is a thread in the legacy they're weaving. And they ask again and again, is this how I want to spend it? Is this worthy of the life I'm building? Most people treat time like it's background noise, something that happens while they wait for inspiration or opportunity. But the Stoic knows it's the opposite. Time is the opportunity, and inspiration doesn't show up first. Action does. Action breeds momentum. Momentum invites opportunity. And soon, time itself begins to respond. Because when you respect time, time respects you. You've seen this happen before. The person who commits to their path daily, without excuses, without drama, they start to accelerate. Projects move, people show up, things click. Why? Because they're no longer fighting the clock. They're working with it. That's the paradox. When you treat time as sacred, you get more of it. Not literally, but experientially. You feel more alive. You feel more focused. You feel more present. And presence, more than anything else, is the gateway to power. So ask yourself, are you trading hours for emptiness? Or are you converting time into something lasting? Every minute you spend with intention is a brick. A brick in your character. A brick in your destiny. A brick in the house of your legacy. The Stoic doesn't wait for the weekend to live. They don't postpone purpose until conditions are perfect. They act now, not recklessly, but morally. Because to waste time is not just inefficient, it's unjust. You were given a window of breath, of consciousness, of agency. To waste it is to deny its value. So live as if time is a teacher and every hour is a lesson. Live as if time is a test and every decision is your answer. Live as if time is sacred and every moment matters. Because to the Stoic, it does. Number 11. Treat the present like a prophecy. Most people drift through the present as if it's disposable, as if it's just filler space between bigger events. They wait for the right time to act, for the new year to start fresh, for the weekend to find peace. But to the Stoic, the present moment is not filler, it's foundation. It's not small, it's everything. The Stoic treats the present like a prophecy, because how one moves through this minute is a mirror of how they will move through the year. What happens today is not separate from tomorrow, it creates it. Every action, every word, every thought, these are not random, they are seeds. And the Stoic knows the harvest of the future is planted in the present. So they act with intention. They don't say, "One day I'll be disciplined." They wake up and practice discipline now. They don't say, "Someday I'll be more grateful." They choose to be grateful today, even if things aren't perfect. Because the Stoic understands something most ignore. Your future is not written in the stars. It's written in your habits. Look around. What are you doing with this hour? Scrolling, complaining, doubting, or building, reflecting, becoming? The Stoic doesn't wait for clarity to begin. They begin, and clarity meets them in motion. Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." He didn't mean this as poetic advice. He meant it as a practice. Live now as the person you claim to be becoming, because every moment is a declaration. Every small decision is a prophecy written in invisible ink. The way you respond to discomfort today predicts how you'll handle challenge next month. The way you speak with respect today predicts the kind of relationships you'll build next year. The way you treat your time today predicts the kind of life you'll wake up to a decade from now. Most people underestimate the present because it looks so small, but so does a single spark before it lights a wildfire. So does one raindrop before the flood. The Stoic sees the power hiding in each breath and moves accordingly. And here's what's strange. When you treat the present with reverence, it begins to respond. Things fall into place. The right people show up. The path becomes clearer, not because of luck, but because of alignment. You don't have to know the future if you're shaping it through consistent choices. You don't have to predict it if you're preparing for it. That's the Stoic secret. Their calm doesn't come from knowing everything will go their way. It comes from knowing they're becoming someone who can handle whatever comes. So instead of wondering what your life will look like in 5 years, look at how you're showing up right now. That's your answer. That's your forecast. The present moment is always honest. It doesn't lie. It doesn't flatter. It shows you exactly where your trajectory is pointed. And if you don't like the direction, it's the only place you can turn the wheel. The Stoic sees each minute as sacred, not in a dramatic way, but in a quiet, persistent way. Because they know that when you show up fully for one moment, the next one arrives cleaner, smoother, closer to what you were aiming for. So they take out the trash, mentally and emotionally. They say no to distractions. They let go of bitterness. They stop rehearsing old pain, not because they're perfect, but because they know every moment spent out of alignment pollutes the path ahead. And every moment spent in alignment is like writing a letter to your future self. I built this for you. So don't wait to start. Don't wait for the perfect plan or perfect timing. You are already prophesying your life right now. Every breath is a blueprint. Every habit is a prediction. Every choice is a message to your future. And when the future arrives, it won't surprise the Stoic. It will fit them perfectly because they designed it in the now. Number 12. Become what you seek, so it has no choice but to find you. There's a moment in every Stoic's journey when the pursuit stops, not because the desire fades, but because the approach transforms. Most people chase. They reach, grasp, run toward what they think they lack: peace, love, success, validation. They treat life like a hunt. But the Stoic moves differently. They don't chase what they want. They become the kind of person it belongs to. This is the paradox. The more you seek something, the more it runs from you. Why? Because chasing reveals distance. It reinforces the belief that what you want is separate, far, unavailable. The Stoic closes that distance not by sprinting faster, but by becoming a magnet. Don't chase peace. Be peace in how you move. Don't beg for love. Be worthy of it in how you love others. Don't obsess over success. Let excellence be your default setting, even when no one's watching. The Stoic stops asking, "When will it happen?" and starts asking, "Who do I need to be for this to become inevitable?" Because life, like gravity, is always responding, not to noise, but to energy, not to desperation, but to alignment. Marcus Aurelius didn't write to the gods asking for a better world. He wrote to himself, asking to become a better man. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Those 5 words are the compass. Not because they're poetic, but because they shift the center of gravity inward. What you want is not out there. It's trying to meet you. But it can only recognize you when you've become the version of yourself that matches what you're asking for. If you want deep love, but your life is full of chaos and resentment, how can it find you? If you want success, but your habits are built on distraction and hesitation, how can it recognize you? If you want peace, but your mind is constantly arguing with reality, how can it stay with you? The Stoic knows you don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. So instead of obsessing over outcomes, they ask better questions. Not, how do I get more, but how do I become more valuable? Not, when will it come, but what do I need to grow through so I'm ready when it does? They stop pointing outward and start refining inward. And something incredible happens. The seeking turns into arriving. What once felt distant begins to show up. Not all at once, but in signs, in momentum, in the right people, the right timing, the right openings. Because life meets readiness, not fantasy, not hoping. Readiness. You felt this before. The job that came the moment you stopped doubting. The relationship that blossomed when you stopped pretending. The calm that entered when you finally released control. None of those came from chasing. They came from alignment. That's why the Stoic doesn't scream at the universe. They align with it. They don't beg for peace. They clear the mental noise. They don't plead for success. They build discipline that outlasts moods. They don't demand love. They live in a way that naturally attracts connection. And they do this quietly, daily, consistently, because they know that greatness doesn't knock on your door when you're distracted. It arrives when you're ready. Not polished, not perfect, but grounded, intentional, steady. So here's the question you must return to. What would the person who already has what I seek be doing right now? Then go do that. Want peace? Stop arguing with small things. Want love? Show up as someone who gives, not takes. Want success? Start treating each hour like it matters, because it does. This isn't about pretending, it's about embodying. Don't wait for it to arrive to become the version of yourself you admire. Become that version first, and let what you seek recognize you when it's ready. Because it's already on its way. The only question is, will it find you ready? The Stoic knows the answer, because they live not as seekers, but as signals. Everything you want isn't waiting in the future. It's waiting for you to become the person who can hold it. And that's what these 12 Stoic secrets are about. They're not magic tricks. They're not shortcuts. They are transformations, quiet ones, daily ones, the kind of shifts that start on the inside and rewrite everything on the outside. Want less, and you'll receive more. See obstacles not as blocks, but as blueprints. Withdraw the need to be seen and become undeniable. Spend your energy like gold, and life will begin to pay you back. Forget being unstoppable. Become unshakable. Train your desires to kneel before your values. Use rituals to harmonize with the universe. Let silence move first, and watch how power follows. Starve what weakens you, and strength will have room to rise. Treat time like a sacred test, and it will open sacred doors. Live this moment as prophecy, and the future will arrive on schedule. And above all, become what you seek, so it has no choice but to find you. Stoicism is far more than a collection of inspirational quotes and fleeting reflections. It's a hands-on, practical guide to navigating life. In this video, we're going to dive into powerful insights drawn from the minds of great Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca. Each lesson holds the power to completely reshape the way you see the world and live your life. I encourage you to watch the video all the way through so you won't miss any of the key principles that can help you rise above whatever difficulties life throws your way. If this is your first time on this channel, I invite you to subscribe and turn on notifications to support the continued creation of valuable and insightful content like this. Let's begin this journey and uncover how you can take control of your emotions and unlock your true potential through our complete guide, Personal Growth, Stoic Philosophy for Modern Life. Click the link in the first pinned comment or visit our website to get access now. One of the first things you need to learn is this: don't share your problems with everyone. The harsh truth is that 80% of people don't care, and the remaining 20% are often secretly glad it's you and not them. Instead, maintain a close-knit circle of trustworthy individuals who truly support you. Genuine empathy is incredibly rare, but when you find it, it becomes one of life's most valuable treasures. Rather than constantly trying to see the good in people, start seeking out people who are inherently good. While it's a noble trait to look for the best in others, surrounding yourself with those who consistently act with kindness and integrity will enrich your life in ways that far surpass blind optimism. Do what's right for you. Remember, nobody else is walking your path. Though others may offer advice, ultimately the choices and their consequences are yours alone. Trust your inner wisdom and respect the unique journey you are on. The more gratitude you cultivate, the more reasons you will find to be grateful. Gratitude isn't just a feeling, It's a powerful magnet for abundance and positivity. By appreciating what you already have, you open the door to even greater blessings. Never let a bad day convince you that you have a bad life. Your perspective shapes your reality. Even when things are tough, understand that life is made up of many experiences. One dark chapter doesn't define your entire story. Every second spent comparing your life to someone else's is a second wasted. Your path is uniquely yours and not meant to be measured against anyone else's. Focus on your own progress, your own growth, and your own joy, rather than trying to live up to someone else's highlight reel. You can try to please everyone, let people take advantage of you, and still find yourself disappointed. That's why setting healthy boundaries is non-negotiable. Your value isn't determined by how much of yourself you give away. When reflecting on life, remember this: no amount of guilt will change the past, and no amount of anxiety will alter the future. Real power lies in the present moment. Focus on what you can influence now and release everything outside your control. Every person in your life has something to teach you. Some will show you the meaning of love and support, while others will teach you what to avoid. Embrace each experience as a lesson, recognizing how both the positive and the painful help you grow stronger. You see the true nature of people when you are no longer useful to them. Adversity strips away pretenses and reveals authenticity. Pay attention to who stands beside you when you have nothing to give. Those are your true allies. Don't get married simply because you feel you should. Marriage must be a deliberate, thoughtful choice built on love and mutual commitment, not a box to check to meet societal expectations. Your happiness should never be sacrificed to appease others. You have exactly as much time as you believe you do. Life is fleeting and fragile, so treat each moment as a precious opportunity. Stop putting your dreams on hold. Cherish your time with loved ones. Tell them you love them, frequently. Expressing your love creates deep, unbreakable bonds and lasting memories. If you've never questioned whether your decision scared you, then you've probably never taken a bold enough step. True growth begins when you step outside your comfort zone. Let fear be a sign that you're pushing yourself towards something greater. Not everyone who claims to support you is truly on your side. Loyalty is proven through action, not empty words. Learn to distinguish between genuine friends and those who are only around when it's convenient. Trust behavior over promises. You cannot love someone so deeply that it forces them to love you in return. Real love is mutual and freely given. Know your worth and don't waste your affection on someone unwilling or unable to give the same love back. Be cautious with your words. Once spoken, they can be forgiven, but rarely forgotten. Words hold the power to either heal or wound deeply. Speak with intention and choose words that uplift rather than harm. Don't let someone's cruelty convince you that there's something wrong with you. Their hurtful actions are a reflection of their own inner struggles, not your value. Stay confident in who you are, even when others try to diminish you. Know your worth, even when others fail to see it. Your value does not rely on external validation. Nurture your self-respect and stay close to those who truly appreciate your essence. If you keep sacrificing what you want most for what you want right now, you'll always end up disappointed. Instant gratification is tempting, but it's discipline and long-term thinking that pave the road to a fulfilling life. It's far better to be single and at peace than to be in a relationship that brings you stress and misery. Being alone isn't nearly as painful as staying with someone who poisons your happiness. Protect your emotional health above all else. Sometimes you just need to say no. Don't give in to guilt or emotional manipulation. Setting boundaries isn't selfish. It's a necessary act of self-care. Prioritize your well-being without apology. Often, the right thing to do is also the hardest thing to do. Personal growth and integrity usually come with challenges. Embrace these moments. They shape your character and build inner strength. What you choose to do today can positively impact all of your tomorrows. Every small, meaningful action contributes to a better future. Keep investing in yourself and in the life you want to build. Life has a strange way of repeating certain situations until we finally learn the lesson we're meant to grasp. Reflect on your patterns and use that awareness to break free from harmful cycles. You won't be punished because of your anger, but by it. When left unchecked, anger becomes self-destructive. Master your emotions before they master you. Emotional control is key to peace and resilience. Being right isn't always worth the cost of losing peace or damaging relationships. Sometimes preserving harmony matters more than winning an argument. Let humility and compassion lead over pride. The people you surround yourself with often shape your life more than you realize. Be mindful of your environment. Even subtle influences can significantly impact your personal growth. Sometimes there isn't a perfect decision in front of you. In those moments, make a choice, and then commit to making it the right one. Life doesn't always offer certainty, but your effort and resolve can make any path meaningful. The greatest mistake you can make is living in fear of making one. That fear alone can paralyze you more than failure ever could. Take action, embrace mistakes, and treat them as lessons that move you forward. Learn how to be happy on your own. If your joy depends on someone else's presence, you give away your power. True strength lies in emotional self-sufficiency. Build a solid relationship with yourself first. You are not obligated to fulfill the expectations others place on you. Live by your own values, your own standards. Let your inner compass guide you, not the pressure to meet someone else's ideals. Not every thought that comes to mind needs to be spoken aloud. Discretion and thoughtful silence are powerful virtues. Sometimes the wisest response is simply to say nothing at all. There are moments in life we wish never happened, truths we wish we didn't have to learn, and people we wish we never had to lose. But part of growth is learning to accept these difficult realities and the lessons they bring. We encounter truths we would rather ignore, but they become necessary lessons. We meet people we feel we cannot live without, yet we're sometimes called to let them go. Life is a series of paradoxes and trials, and true wisdom lies in embracing the inevitable and evolving through it. No matter how many life lessons someone tries to teach you, you won't fully understand them until you've lived them yourself. Personal experience remains the most powerful teacher. Cherish your own journey as a valuable source of learning. You always have the power to begin again, to start becoming the person you genuinely want to be. Each day is a new opportunity to transform yourself. Don't wait for the perfect moment to make a change. Create the moment by taking action. The people who place the most demands on you are often the ones who offer you the least. Learn to identify relationships that are imbalanced. Appreciate those who add genuine value to your life and be mindful of your expectations. Never give up these three things: your family, your heart, or your dignity. These are the foundations of a meaningful and fulfilling life. Guard them fiercely, for they are irreplaceable. Always keep your eyes on where you're headed, not on where you've been. The past exists to teach you, not to trap you. Focus on the future and the potential that lies ahead. Sometimes, it's not that people have changed. It's that the masks they were wearing have finally come off. A person's true character becomes evident with time through their consistent words and actions. Show respect even to those who may not deserve it, not because of who they are, but because of who you are. The way you treat others is a reflection of your own character, not theirs. Stay true to your values regardless of how others behave. When a problem seems to have no solution, it might not be a problem to solve, but rather a truth to accept. Wisdom lies in knowing the difference between what can be changed and what must be embraced. Inner peace often emerges when we accept reality instead of resisting it. Nothing leaves your life until it has taught you what you needed to learn. Repeating patterns and situations are often signs pointing you toward growth. Pay attention to these moments, they're lessons in disguise. Avoid making permanent decisions during emotional storms. Emotions are temporary, but the outcomes of your decisions can last. Step back, breathe, and approach situations with clarity and calm. Sometimes, the healthiest choice is to let certain people go, no matter how difficult it feels. Some individuals are simply not worth the emotional effort. Recognize when a relationship causes more harm than good, and prioritize your own emotional health. To truly understand someone's character, don't just observe what they do. Watch how they react. Reactions are harder to fake and often reveal more than actions ever could. The way someone treats you is a reflection of who they are, not who you are. Don't let their negative behavior diminish your sense of self-worth. Keep your confidence strong even when others treat you unfairly. Mistakes are evidence that you're trying. Every misstep is a chance to grow and learn. Don't fear making mistakes, fear standing still. Love on its own isn't enough to sustain a happy and lasting relationship. The ability to be open and unafraid is essential. Even the toughest conversations are necessary. Honest, consistent communication is the bedrock of any strong bond. Life always has something to teach you, if you're willing to learn. Keep your mind open and thoughtful. Every experience, whether uplifting or painful, carries a lesson within it. A person's true strength is revealed not in easy times, but in the face of hardship. Difficult situations expose our deepest character. Adversity is the ultimate test of our inner resolve. When you place someone on a pedestal, they have no choice but to look down on you. Respect others, but don't idolize them. Real relationships thrive on mutual appreciation, not blind admiration. Pain makes you stronger. Betrayals make you wiser. Deceptions sharpen your discernment. Life's struggles are stepping stones to becoming a better version of yourself. Learn something valuable from every challenge. In a relationship, when one person becomes the keeper of all things good and bad, the dynamic becomes exaggerated. Both strengths and weaknesses are magnified in close partnerships. Constantly work on growing and strengthening your connection. You teach people how to treat you by what you allow and what you don't. Set firm boundaries and treat others the way you wish to be treated. Your standards and behavior shape the way people respond to you. Nothing in your life will improve unless you choose to change it. Be proactive about creating the life you want. Lasting change often begins with initiative and personal responsibility. Difficult conversations, though uncomfortable, are often hidden blessings. Facing issues head-on can lead to immense personal growth and deeper, stronger relationships. Let go of what weighs you down and allow life's challenges to build you up. Even when it hurts, keep your head high and move forward. True strength is forged through perseverance. Sometimes, not getting what you thought you wanted turns out to be the best thing for you. Disappointment can be life's way of steering you in a better direction. Trust the unfolding journey and maintain an open heart. The more you accept and appreciate yourself, the less you depend on others for approval. Self-love is the cornerstone of emotional independence. Build a deep, authentic relationship with yourself, and your sense of fulfillment will come from within, not from outside sources. Being good at keeping others' secrets doesn't mean they'll return the favor. Loyalty isn't always mutual. Be discerning about what you share and with whom. Choose your confidants wisely. More often than not, the change we seek lies not in our environment, but within ourselves. Real transformation begins inside. Before trying to change your surroundings, look inward and ask how you can grow from the inside out. You can do everything right and still not succeed. That's not weakness, it's life. Even perfect effort doesn't guarantee the outcome you want. Focus on what you can control, your dedication, your mindset, your resilience. That's where your power lies. Inner peace begins the moment you decide not to let another person or situation control your emotions. Your ability to respond calmly is your greatest strength. Choose how you react with intention and serenity. The one who provokes your anger ultimately controls you. When you lose your temper, you give away your power. Master your anger, and you'll maintain control over your choices and behavior. There is no success without sacrifice. To achieve something great in life, you'll often have to give up comfort or ease. Consider what you're willing to let go of in order to reach your goals. Growth begins the moment you stop allowing fear to hold you back. Fear is often the biggest barrier between you and your potential. Confront it, and new paths will open before you. A man who truly wants something will find a way to make it happen. A man who doesn't will find an excuse. Determination separates those who succeed from those who stall. Focus on finding solutions, not reasons to stay stuck. No matter how hard you try, some people will never like you, and that's okay. You can't and shouldn't try to please everyone. Accept this truth and stay true to who you are. Sometimes you have to take bold risks. Even if it's scary or uncomfortable, you'll never know your true potential unless you try. Real growth happens when you stretch beyond what's familiar. People give advice from their own lens. Their opinions are shaped by their personal experiences and biases. Listen carefully, but always weigh their words against your own values and circumstances. The greatest danger isn't in dreaming too big and falling short. It's in dreaming too small and succeeding. Don't limit yourself. Set goals that challenge you and push you to grow. Be the person you hope to find in others. If you seek love, be loving. If you want honesty, be truthful. If you want respect, give it freely. Life tends to mirror back what we put out into the world. Your actions and energy echo back to you. When you offer kindness, compassion, and positivity, they return in kind. Speak with intention. Don't let hatred, jealousy, anger, or insecurity guide your words. Words spoken from a place of pain often inflict pain and bring regret. Communicate with calmness and thoughtfulness. Think before you speak, because your words hold the power to uplift or destroy. Choose them wisely. Speak with intention, understanding the influence your words can have on both others and yourself. You only have one body. It is yours for a lifetime. Though it's remarkably strong, it can only give back what you provide. Your health is your most precious asset. Prioritize habits that nourish it and invest in both your physical and mental wellness. When someone goes out of their way to convince you they're telling the truth, it's often a red flag. They're probably not. True honesty doesn't scream for attention. It speaks quietly through consistent actions. Focus more on how people behave over time, not just on what they claim. Never define your worth by how others perceive you. Your value is inherent and doesn't depend on external praise. Build your self-worth on your own principles and truths rather than on fleeting judgments. If there's something in your life that you dislike, change it. No transformation will occur unless you take responsibility. You are the one crafting your life, and each new day gives you the chance to shape the story you're living. Don't hand the pen to someone else. This is your narrative. Be the lead character in your journey, and don't let other people's fears determine your destination. Avoid doing anything that would require you to lie later. Living with integrity allows you to meet your own reflection without shame. Tearing others down doesn't lift you up. True greatness is found in raising those around you. Your light shines brightest when it's used to guide and inspire others. Making yourself a priority isn't selfish. It's a vital act of self-love. You can't pour into others from an empty vessel. Fill yourself first with care, compassion, and positive energy. Light may travel faster than sound, which is why some people seem impressive until they speak. Sharpen both your mind and your wisdom. Real intelligence becomes visible through what you do, not just what you say. At times, you must loosen your grip and allow life to unfold naturally. Even your trials carry lessons and growth. Life itself is full of risks, but the most dangerous choice is doing nothing at all. Every risk is a doorway to growth. Be bold enough to live, to love, and to chase what sets your soul on fire. The only person you're guaranteed to be with for the rest of your life is yourself. Start loving that person. Self-love is the soil from which all healthy relationships grow and the foundation for a truly fulfilled life. Overthinking can be your worst enemy. It distorts truth and complicates clarity. Learn to stay rooted in the present and focus on solutions. Inner peace begins when you stop needing all the answers and start accepting life's questions. Don't stress over whispers behind your back. They reveal more about the speaker than they do about you. Keep growing, live by your principles, and reclaim your peace. It's too valuable to let someone else control it. Pain is often the teacher of our most necessary lessons. It wakes us up, reshapes us, and prepares us for a wiser, more grounded future. Find happiness within yourself without needing validation from outside. Build a life that excites you and let joy grow from the inside out. Confidence doesn't always come from feeling ready. Sometimes it comes from acting as if you are. How you carry yourself shapes your outcomes. Change is inevitable. Don't fight it. Flow with it, but never compromise your values. Let change refine you, not erase you. Just because life could have been different doesn't mean it would have been better. Appreciate the path that has brought you here and use it to create a meaningful tomorrow. Life doesn't become easier. We become stronger. Every challenge builds our resilience. Celebrate that strength and acknowledge how far you've come. It's not your mistakes that define who you are, but how you handle them. Your response to failure reveals your character and your resolve. People will disappoint you. It's part of life. But never give anyone the power to own your trust entirely. Build close relationships, but maintain emotional independence. Your inner strength is the most stable anchor in a world where loyalties shift like sand. Hard work doesn't guarantee success, but laziness almost always leads to failure. Talent alone isn't enough. Perseverance breaks doors open. Be relentless in your effort, yet adaptable in your approach. You will never find true happiness if you constantly seek approval from others. Your worth isn't in the applause you receive, but in the peace you feel when you live with authenticity. Embrace self-acceptance, and success in all forms will follow. The moment you relax your grip and stop trying to control everything, fear and anxiety begin to lose their hold. Calmness is your most powerful shield. Strive not for perfection, but for progress. Perfection often stalls movement, while progress builds momentum. Honor every little step forward. It's in that steady motion that transformation occurs. Your worth is absolute. Never shrink for anyone or anything that undermines your value. You are a work of art in motion. Surround yourself with those who uplift and respect your uniqueness. Be mindful of what you allow. You're teaching others how to treat you. Your boundaries reflect how much you value yourself. You may never feel completely sure about a decision, but take one anyway. It's better to act and adjust than to remain paralyzed by indecision. Inaction is a cage. Movement, no matter how flawed, brings freedom. Have the courage to make choices and the humility to correct them as you go. Learn to say no without apology. Protect your time, your focus, and your energy. Every yes you give means a no to something else. Let your priorities reflect your deepest values. Your well-being should never be sacrificed for someone else's expectations. The chase for happiness will leave you drained until you realize that happiness is not a place, but a way of moving through life. Joy is found in the process, in the ordinary, in each fleeting moment. When you begin to cherish those, happiness meets you there. Maybe you're not healing because you're trying to go back to the version of yourself that was hurt. But that person no longer exists. A new version is ready to emerge. Growth requires shedding the past. Let that evolution happen and give life to your truest self. There will always be people who fail to see your worth. But don't let that blind you to your own light. What you believe about yourself matters more than what others perceive. Build a strong, grounded self-image and keep shining, even when unnoticed. You can't grow if you always think you're right. Humility is the doorway to understanding. Accept the possibility of being wrong, and you'll gain wisdom from every moment. Life owes you nothing. Work for what you want. Entitlement is a trap, while initiative sets you free. Take ownership of your life, and you'll uncover strengths you didn't know were yours. There will be moments you wish never happened, things you didn't want to learn, and people you didn't want to lose. But these are the seasons of growth. Life is a continuous lesson in surrender and transformation. Accept the flow of change, and you'll become stronger through it. What you want requires dedication and daily discipline. Dreams don't come true through luck or magic. They're realized through effort and consistency. Make your aspirations part of your routine, and soon the impossible becomes inevitable. Your entire life can change in an instant, so don't take what you have for granted. Be thankful for it and use it well. Gratitude turns the mundane into the miraculous. Live every day like the gift it is, filled with chances to grow and give. Beware of those who pretend to be loyal. The worst betrayals come wrapped in fake friendship. Cultivate real connections, ones rooted in honesty and openness, and you'll learn to distinguish truth from illusion. People's actions speak louder than anything they claim. Words may lie, but behavior always tells the truth. Watch how others behave to understand who they really are. Never judge your potential by your lowest moments. Your struggles don't define your limits, they shape your strength. Let your difficulties be steps toward a higher version of yourself. You are far more capable than your worst days suggest. Only delay what you're willing to abandon forever. Procrastination steals your future. If it matters, do it now, because tomorrow isn't guaranteed. Live boldly, with purpose and urgency, because each day is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to shape the legacy you wish to leave behind. The more difficult your life becomes, the quicker you will move toward your goals. Adversity isn't a setback, it's the fuel for your growth. Welcome challenges as bridges to your dreams, not as roadblocks. Excuses will never solve your problems. Own your decisions. The power to transform your life begins with accepting your role in its direction. Responsibility is the gateway to real change. Accept that you will make mistakes and choose to learn from them. Rather than letting each misstep become a weight you carry, view them as hidden lessons and let the pain become fuel for your personal growth, not chains that trap you in the past. Surround yourself with people who expand your vision, not just your social calendar. Seek out minds that challenge your thinking and stimulate your growth. Look for relationships that feed your intellect and open new perspectives. Avoid making important decisions when you're angry, and don't make promises when you're overjoyed. Strong emotions distort clarity. Cultivate a balanced mind to act with wisdom, no matter the emotional weather. You may never fully understand the pain you've caused another person until you experience the same hurt yourself. Real empathy is often born from walking in someone else's shoes. Treat people with the same compassion you long to receive. Be discerning about who you allow into your life. Some people will drain your energy and then disappear, blaming you for their chaos. Protect your peace and guard your personal space. Healthy connections nourish your spirit, not exhaust it. Maturity is having the power to destroy someone who hurt you, but choosing to breathe, walk away, and trust that life will handle it. Real strength is found in restraint. Choose inner peace instead of revenge. The only person you can truly control is yourself. Pour your energy into your own behavior and actions, for that is where your real power lies. Stay humble enough to know that everything can be lost, but confident enough to believe you can rebuild it all. Resilience grows from this harmony between humility and confidence. Let every attempt remind you that you are progressing. Success isn't a final stop, it's a continual journey of becoming. Celebrate each effort as an advance in your evolution. Invest so deeply in your personal growth that there's no space left for judgment or criticism of others. Personal development is the antidote to judgment. As you improve yourself, you naturally inspire others. Wise individuals stop overanalyzing once they understand that great decisions often require intuition just as much as logic. The key is learning when to rely on reason and when to trust your inner voice. Everything begins and ends in your mind. Whatever you empower with your thoughts gains control over your reality. Shape your mindset to uplift and energize you. Master your thoughts. Mental discipline is essential to success in every area of life. Train your mind with the same dedication and consistency you would apply to physical fitness. Excuses are always readily available. They're easy to find. But discovering a way forward requires courage. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's acting despite it. Choose boldness over comfort. Be wise enough to understand that life doesn't pause for your healing. Growth often happens outside the boundaries of comfort. Move forward even when you don't feel completely ready. Don't let love become the reason you accept mistreatment. Self-love is the foundation of every healthy relationship. Set firm boundaries and protect your dignity. Real love lifts you up. It doesn't tear you down. Every time you lie, you create future problems for yourself. Honesty simplifies life. Live with integrity, and you'll sidestep countless complications. The truth may hurt, but it always brings freedom. Do what is right now. The present is your only guaranteed moment. Let your actions reflect integrity. Every right choice shapes your character and creates the future you envision. A person who truly believes in themselves doesn't need to convince anyone else. Authentic confidence speaks softly but carries power. Build your worth from the inside, and your actions will say more than any words. Learn to miss people without needing them back. Growth often involves letting go, honoring the past, and moving forward with grace. Your future needs you fully present. If life were easy, there would be no room to grow. Challenges are the gym for your soul. Every trial you conquer strengthens you. Welcome difficulty as a chance to evolve. Sometimes you simply have to accept that some people will live in your heart, but not in your life. Not all relationships are meant to last. Cherish the moments for what they were and remain open to what lies ahead. The only way to truly build self-respect is by doing things that matter. Real self-esteem comes from doing meaningful things and building a life you're proud of through intentional daily choices. Trading long-term joy for short-term pleasure is a recipe for deep regret. True satisfaction demands patience and vision. Commit to your future by resisting the fleeting temptations of now. Don't fear setting boundaries in your relationships. If people leave when you do, they were never meant to stay. Mutual respect is the backbone of every healthy bond. Never be afraid to walk away from anyone who diminishes your light. Life becomes lighter when you learn to forgive without receiving an apology. Forgiveness is something you give yourself. Liberation from unfulfilled expectations and emotional baggage. The journey toward a better life begins the moment you decide not to stay where you are. Change starts with a decision. Be bold enough to envision a new future and take that first step, even if it's a small one. Slow progress builds inner strength. Quick wins often feed the ego. Trust in the process. Value the path just as much as the destination. It's in life's toughest battles that your real strength is forged. If you don't create distance from your distractions, they will separate you from your goals. Your focus is priceless. Guard it like a treasure. It's the secret ingredient to manifesting your dreams. Following the crowd guarantees ordinary outcomes. True greatness requires the bravery to be different. Dare to walk your own unique path, even if it means walking alone for a while. Never lose yourself by tolerating too much from those you care about. Self-love sets the standard for how others treat you. You deserve respect. Never sacrifice your essence to please others. Channel your focus into building the life you desire instead of running from the one you currently have. True transformation begins now. Use your energy to create, not escape. Every conscious decision brings you closer to who you want to become. When your intentions are genuine, remember, it's not your loss when someone walks away. They lose the gift of your authenticity. Stay rooted in your integrity, and you'll attract those who value the real you. Once you truly know yourself, you stop fearing what you might miss out on. Self-awareness brings peace and certainty. Trust in your unique path and release the anxiety of comparison. One of the surest ways to erode your self-confidence is by repeatedly breaking promises to yourself. Personal integrity is the foundation of trust. Treat the commitments you make to yourself with the same seriousness you would offer others. Stop sabotaging your future with the echoes of your past. The present is your most powerful tool. Honor your past for what it taught you, but don't let it limit your potential. Every new day gives you the chance to write a better story. You grow in proportion to the amount of truth you're willing to confront. Self-acceptance requires honesty. Facing your truths with courage is the beginning of real transformation. All failures are temporary, so long as you keep trying. Persistence turns setbacks into stepping stones. Every attempt is a lesson. You only truly fail when you give up. Blaming others for your problems hands over your power. It lets them control your emotions and your happiness. Reclaim your life by owning it. That's your first move toward emotional liberation. Blind trust often ends in betrayal. Real trust must be earned through consistency and integrity, not handed out freely. Watch people's actions more than their words. Let trust be built gradually, not assumed quickly. The only person who truly needs to understand your journey is you. Your inner peace is not dependent on receiving approval from the outside world. Trust your instincts and value your own understanding of yourself. The same is true for your personal journey. Life improves when you stop assuming that you will always have more time ahead. Urgency creates purpose. Live each day as though it were a unique opportunity. Do not delay your dreams or put off acts of love. Take proactive steps every day. Every day should be a step forward, no matter how small. Constant, steady progress leads to significant changes in the long run. Take control of your life and create opportunities rather than waiting for them to come to you. Apologizing first shows bravery. Forgiving first shows strength, and forgetting first shows happiness. Humility, strength, and emotional freedom are powerful virtues. Strive to cultivate these qualities and grow from them. Show respect even to those who may not seem to deserve it. Do so not as a reflection of their character, but as a reflection of yours. Your integrity does not depend on how others act. Keep your standards high, regardless of how you are treated by others. Do what you make winning not be about everything, but rather about being satisfied with giving your best. Set your own standards because true success is personal and internal. Compete with yourself, not with others. Finding your why is the foundation of your goals. It gives meaning to your actions and drives your ambitions. A clear, deep sense of purpose lights the way during difficult times, and make sense of your efforts. Taking responsibility for all your problems does more to reduce suffering than to increase it. Empowerment is born from taking responsibility. By accepting your role in your circumstances, you gain the power to change them. Know who you are and what you want. Your feelings matter, and those who truly care won't mind, while those who mind don't truly care. Authenticity attracts genuine relationships. Do not apologize for being yourself. Your true self is your greatest strength. When you speak, you are merely repeating what you already know. But when you listen, you open yourself up to new learning. Wisdom often resides in silence and observation, so cultivate the art of listening. Everyone has something valuable to teach you. Never go out with someone you wouldn't be good friends with. Friendship is the foundation of lasting relationships. Seek a connection that goes beyond superficial attraction. Compatibility and mutual respect are essential. The more lessons you can learn from others indirectly, the less you will need to go through difficult times yourself. Wisdom can be gained without personal pain. Learn from the mistakes and successes of others, and careful observation can save you from many stumbles. Healing often involves looking honestly at the role you play in your own suffering. Self-reflection is crucial for growth. Recognizing your patterns and contributions to your problems is the first step toward positive change. Challenging yourself is the only path to growth. Comfort is the enemy of progress. Only by pushing beyond your limits can you discover your true potential. Ignoring red flags and continuing to see the good in people can cost you more than you realize. Trust your intuition. It is a valuable tool. Pay attention to inconsistencies and problematic behaviors. Self-love involves setting healthy boundaries. Inner peace means being able to stay calm in a storm. True serenity comes from internal peace, not from the absence of chaos. Cultivate peace that is immune to external circumstances. Anchor yourself during life's storms. Avoid people who use their pain as an excuse to hurt you. Suffering does not justify harming others. Surround yourself with those who, despite their struggles, choose compassion and mutual growth. Don't share too much of yourself with others. Most people don't care, and some might secretly want you to fail. Protect your energy and your dreams. Share your most precious goals only with those who deserve to nurture them in a supportive environment. Reacting impulsively causes you to lose power. Cultivate the ability to pause between stimulus and response. That pause is where your freedom lies, and within it, you have the power of choice. Perfectionism is a disease. Procrastination is a disease, but action is the cure. Progress, even imperfect, overcomes paralysis. Small, steady steps of consistent action are the antidote to stagnation. Go where you are appreciated, not just tolerated. Your presence is valuable. Seek environments that nurture your growth, for you will thrive where you feel valued. Don't settle for less than you deserve. First, fix your body before addressing anything else. A weak body reflects a broken mind, a lack of willpower, and poor life choices. Physical health is the foundation of overall well-being. Taking care of your body enhances your strength and mental clarity. Some disconnections will bless your life. Not every relationship is meant to last, and sometimes letting go is part of growing. Releasing certain connections opens the door for better opportunities. True success does not come from seeking validation from others. It comes from demonstrating what you are capable of and achieving your goals despite the challenges you face. Your worth does not need external approval. Pursue your dreams with determination. Your personal success is the best form of validation. When you encounter someone smarter than you, work with them. Don't be intimidated. Greatness attracts greatness. Surround yourself with brilliant minds. Their light does not dim yours, but instead helps illuminate your own potential. Never expect to receive what others cannot give you. Give without expecting anything in return, but with healthy limits. Your generosity is your strength. Do not let your mental state become your weakness. You have the power to determine your life's experience. Prioritize your mental health just as you would your physical health. Exercise your mind with new challenges and positive self-talk. Cultivate thoughts that elevate your perspective. Your view of the world shapes your experience. Life is difficult because we don't always appreciate the things that come easily. Gratitude transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary. Recognize the value in your everyday blessings. True wealth lies in appreciating what you already have. Loneliness should never drive you to make decisions you'll regret. The wrong company can leave you lonelier than being alone. Cultivate inner peace. Wise decisions come from emotional self-sufficiency. Once you're on the right track in life, you stop getting offended or angry all the time because you have much more meaningful things to focus on. With clear purpose, you can filter out distractions and focus on your growth. Negativity loses its power when you are committed to your vision. Your growth depends on your willingness to keep learning, even when the process feels tedious. Mastery requires persistence, so embrace the journey, not just the exciting moments. Consistency in the mundane forges excellence. Keep your personal life private. Even when you have a lot to share, discretion is a form of self-care. Protect your inner peace. Not every experience needs to be shared or validated externally. Find a relationship where being yourself makes the other person happy. Authenticity attracts genuine connections. Don't change your essence. Someone who is right for you will celebrate who you truly are. One of the most dangerous things you can do is compare your life to someone else's. Life is not a race, but your personal journey. Each path is unique. Celebrate your progress. The only valid comparison is with who you were yesterday. Failure is not the end. It is simply a detour on the road to success. Resilience is key to triumph. Every fall is a lesson. Get up, learn, and continue with renewed determination. Just because you cannot see the purpose behind a difficult time does not mean it lacks purpose. Perspective comes with time. Trust the process of your life. The greatest growth often comes from the darkest moments. When you believe, your mind will find a way. Belief is the catalyst for action. In these times, your belief becomes the key that sparks action. Cultivating this belief is the first step in transforming your dreams into reality. Remember, your thoughts are the initial catalyst that sets everything in motion. Patience, however, is your ultimate competitive advantage. Success in life is not about quick wins. It's about playing the long game and being persistent. The sweetest fruits often take longer to ripen, and in the same way, long-term vision and consistent effort are crucial to achieving sustainable success. Your future is calling, and so is your past. Don't let yourself live solely for the future. Learn from your past, but don't become trapped in it. Your potential lies in the present moment, in the opportunities you are actively creating. Being true to yourself can sometimes lead to loneliness, but this solitude is worth it. Authenticity attracts real relationships and fosters a sense of inner peace. Others may try to bring you down due to their own jealousy, and while this is normal, stay focused on your goals. The opinions of others do not define your worth. Success will always attract criticism, and instead of letting it discourage you, let it fuel your determination to keep moving forward. Change may feel daunting, but stagnation is far worse. Embrace change as an opportunity for growth. Each new challenge is a door to a better version of yourself. The process of evolving may hurt, but true love in its purest form transcends occasional pain. Meaningful relationships require vulnerability. Choose carefully who you trust, as not everyone will handle your vulnerability with care. A day without challenges signals that you're on the wrong path. Challenges are the signs of progress. Obstacles are the markers that show you're expanding your limits. The real magic lies in the work you avoid. Confront your unresolved tasks, as this is where the potential for your dreams lies. What you fear the most is often what you need to do the most. Discipline yourself to stay true to your promises and be your own strongest ally. Reliability is the cornerstone of achieving your goals. Life is defined by opportunities, including the ones that come through loss. Learn from your past, but focus on the new possibilities that await you. Build discretion in silence, especially when your dreams are in their most vulnerable stages. Pain teaches us valuable lessons, and sometimes those lessons need to be learned multiple times for them to truly sink in. Stay calm in stressful situations. Recognize your emotions, but don't let them control you. Holding on to the past will dull your future. Invest your energy in creating the future you want to experience. The only real failure is not taking action. Even imperfect action is better than inaction, and the only rejection is not asking for what you want. The courage to ask opens new doors of opportunity. The greatest achievements are often found just on the other side of fear. It is essential to know when to say no. Your limits are important for maintaining personal integrity. People may desire your success, but not more than their own. Celebrate others, but do not depend on their validation. Overestimating intrinsic blame gives others power over you. Take full responsibility for changing your circumstances. Life has a way of working out, even when things seem impossible. Keep hope alive and continue moving forward. Never sacrifice who you are in the process of trying to be what others want. You don't have to prove anything to anyone, not even to yourself. Your worth is intrinsic. Luck favors those who work hard. Constant action creates opportunities, and it's important not to place all your happiness in one person or thing. Seek multiple sources of joy in your life. When you feel like giving up, remember the reason you started. The motivation that inspired you at the beginning is still valid. Don't place your relationships before your goals. Balance both to avoid losing out on either. It's possible to fall in love more than once, and a love lost is not the end. It's often a chance to improve your decision-making about desires and sacrifices. If you don't make those decisions, life will make them for you. Change happens when you challenge your habits. Get out of your comfort zone, as failure reveals the path by showing what doesn't work. Every mistake is a lesson. It's normal to feel bad after making the right decision. Growth often comes with discomfort, and people may dislike you no matter how much you try to please them. Don't waste energy on them. Acting now is crucial. Don't postpone what's important. Bad times help you appreciate the good things you may have taken for granted. Find gratitude even in adversity. Don't seek sympathy from others. Those who truly care will show up without needing to be asked. Sometimes, showing love means giving someone more of what they no longer appreciate. Know when to walk away. Emotional self-sufficiency is key to personal growth. Life is a blend of joy and sorrow. Embrace both as part of your journey. How you react to challenges defines your character. Choose to grow in the face of adversity. While money doesn't guarantee happiness, poverty does bring its own challenges. Seek balance, both financial and emotional. Hiding from problems doesn't solve them. Face them head-on for personal growth. Regrets linger only if you refuse to forgive. Practice forgiveness towards yourself and others. Comparing yourself to others is a waste of time. Focus on your own progress. Don't allow others to abuse your kindness. Set healthy boundaries in your relationships. Problems are rarely as serious as we think. Our perceptions often magnify them. Obsessing over happiness prevents us from finding it. Live in the present moment without chasing after happiness. Treat yourself as you would treat someone you are trying to help. Be your own best ally and caregiver. Relationships come and go, and many will fail over time. Friends and family may not always know what's best for you. Trust your intuition instead. The greatest mistake is considering yourself weak. Recognize the strength within you and never allow mistreatment, especially in the name of love. Respect is essential in every relationship. Knowing when to intervene and when to step back is crucial. Take risks occasionally, as stepping out of your comfort zone opens new possibilities. Success doesn't come from hidden secrets. It comes from consistent hard work. Make yourself indispensable by providing unique value. Don't depend entirely on anyone. Cultivate self-sufficiency in all areas of life. Sometimes your enemies offer more valuable lessons than your friends. Fear of failure or success can prevent you from pursuing your dreams. Dare to go after them despite the fear. Don't expect kindness from everyone, and don't feel obligated to be good to everyone. Be selective with your energy and authentic in your relationships. It's during the toughest times that you'll see the true colors of those who claim to care for you. Watch who stays when the road gets tough. They are the true treasures in your life. If you never heal from what hurt you, you'll continue to bleed on people who didn't cause your pain. Healing is an act of self-love and responsibility towards both yourself and others. Never expect too much from anyone, and always keep your expectations realistic. Build relationships on consistent actions, not just words. Don't stay in unhealthy relationships simply because you've known someone for a long time. The relationships that nourish you and help you grow, regardless of their duration, are the ones worth keeping. Our wounds often lead us to the most beautiful and transformative parts of ourselves. Embrace the difficult experiences in life as opportunities for growth. People often only want to hear about the good, not the bad, which can make it hard to find someone trustworthy when you're going through tough times. Be the person who listens without judgment and cultivates authentic relationships. Numbing your pain only prolongs it. Face your emotions, no matter how painful, as they are the key to true healing. When the decisive moment comes, you have two choices. You can define the moment, or let the moment define you. Take control of your life and become the author of your own story. Stay away from narcissists who play by no rules and drain your energy slowly. Learn to recognize the signs of toxic relationships and set firm boundaries. Learn to select your thoughts as carefully as you select your clothes each day. This is a power you can cultivate. Your mind is like a garden. It grows the thoughts you nurture. If you want control over your life, start with mastering your mind. Your response to life circumstances is shaped by your mind, not by external events. No matter how good you are to others, they will often remember your mistakes. Do good simply because it is the right thing to do, not because you expect gratitude or recognition from others. In every situation, life is asking us a question, and our actions provide the answer. Work is simply a response to this question. Live with intention, knowing that every action you take is a declaration of who you are. Say no to the desire for perfection, as it will prevent you from improving. Embrace your imperfections as opportunities to grow. The regret of prioritizing those who don't prioritize you will only cause you pain. It's important to learn to value yourself as much as you value others. To foster healthy relationships, you need to have a clear vision of where you're going in life, because you can't get to a place if you don't know the direction you're headed in. Wandering aimlessly won't get you ahead. You need to set clear goals and work toward them consistently. Dreams without goals are merely fantasies. Transform your dreams into concrete plans and take small, consistent steps toward them. When you find yourself barely holding on, let go. You shouldn't be holding on to something that makes you feel that way. Trust that releasing what no longer serves you will make room for new opportunities. The reality is that bad things don't impact us as deeply as we expect, just as good things don't affect us as profoundly. We adapt quickly to both. Live in the present and cultivate gratitude for every moment. Never overlook the disdain of others. When someone looks down on you or treats you with contempt, it can be painful. Recognize your worth and surround yourself with people who respect and value you. Even a life filled with happiness will have some shadows, and without a touch of sadness, the concept of happiness would lose its meaning. Embrace both joy and pain, as they are woven together to form the rich fabric of human experience. You cannot be happy with others if you're not at peace with yourself. Self-love is the bedrock on which strong, lasting relationships are built. Don't be afraid of life. Trust that life is worth living, and your belief in its worth will help you create that reality. Your attitude and perspective possess the power to shape your experience. Holding on to grudges won't hurt the people you resent. It will only hurt you. Forgiveness isn't for their benefit, but for your own peace of mind and emotional well-being. The only thing that can make achieving your dreams impossible is the fear of failure. Dare to pursue your goals, because true failure is never trying at all. You won't truly appreciate a moment until it's a memory. Live fully in the present and value every moment as it happens. Suffering is no longer suffering once we clearly understand it. Understanding your emotions is the first step in managing them effectively. People's actions tell you more about them than their words. Pay attention to what they do, not just what they say, for that is where their true character lies. True growth happens when you start examining and correcting yourself rather than blaming others. Self-awareness and taking personal responsibility are crucial for your development. You regain control over your life when you take responsibility for it. The decisions and actions you make will shape your future. If you're unsure of someone's motivations, observe the consequences of their actions, and from there, you can infer their intentions. Often, the results reveal the truth more clearly than any words could. The greatest risk is not taking risks at all. especially in a world that is constantly changing. The one surefire way to fail is to avoid taking risks. Growth and success often come from stepping out of your comfort zone. Tomorrow never arrives because it's always today. Live in the present and take action now. The future is built from the actions you take today. Throughout this journey of exploring Stoic teachings, we've learned that Stoicism is much more than a collection of phrases. It's a powerful guide for navigating life with strength and wisdom. Remember, Stoicism isn't just for times of crisis, it's for every day. I encourage you to take these lessons with you, apply them in your life, and see how they can transform your world in ways you never imagined. If this journey through Stoicism has inspired you, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. This helps YouTube understand that this content resonates with people like you, so we can keep creating more similar videos in the future. If you've made it to the end of this video, it shows your commitment to learning and personal growth. The fact that you've reached the end proves your dedication to absorbing knowledge and applying it to your life. Keep seeking wisdom and strive to be the best version of yourself. Remember, learning is a continuous journey that brings its own rewards. The fact that you've made it this far is a reflection of your persistence and desire for improvement. Keep moving forward on this journey of growth. We all desire to be attractive, but what if I told you that you could become deeply magnetic without even saying a single word? Yes, that's right. Let's explore how you can develop habits that make you socially appealing in complete silence. Not only that, but we're going to do it through the lens of Stoic philosophy. So, if you're ready to understand how to radiate calm, presence, and power, all while embracing true attractiveness, then stay with me. Stoicism is an ancient philosophy rooted in the idea of living in harmony with nature and fully accepting the things we cannot change. It's a path of inner strength, discipline, and wisdom, and these principles can be incredibly effective when it comes to attraction. Because let's be honest, being attractive isn't just about physical appearance. It's about how you behave, how you carry yourself, and how you feel within. Let's break this down into key habits you can cultivate to become quietly captivating. We'll be diving into ideas like confidence, serenity, presence, and more. Each of these habits will be deeply grounded in Stoic thought, and I'll share powerful quotes from famous philosophers that bring each idea to life. This way, you're not just learning how to become more attractive. You're also immersing yourself in a philosophy that has the potential to completely transform your life. So get ready, because we're about to embark on a journey that won't just elevate your presence in the eyes of others, but will also shape you into a wiser, more grounded human being. Before we dive deeper, I'd really appreciate it if you gave this video a like so it can reach more people. And if you don't want to miss any of my upcoming content, go ahead and subscribe and hit that notification bell. Let's begin with the first habit: confidence. Confidence is one of the most attractive traits a person can have, and the beautiful part is, you don't need to speak a single word to express it. Think about this quote by Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Stoic emperors and philosophers. Perfect tranquility consists in the good ordering of the mind, the realm within. This reminds us that real confidence comes from within. It's not about showing off or dominating conversations. It's about having a mind that is calm, centered, and at peace. So how do we build this kind of inner confidence from a Stoic standpoint? First, it's essential to understand that confidence isn't about knowing everything or being superior to others. It's about being comfortable with who you are, embracing both your strengths and your flaws. One powerful practice you can adopt is daily meditation. You don't need hours, just a few minutes a day can have a huge impact. Meditation allows you to connect with yourself, settle your mind, and discover that deep inner stillness Marcus Aurelius spoke of. Over time, you'll notice that you enter social situations with more ease and presence because you've already done the inner work. Another important practice is self-reflection. Take time at the end of each day to look back on your actions and thoughts. What did you handle well? What could you improve? This habit of reflection helps you understand yourself more deeply and creates a foundation of inner strength that builds genuine confidence. This is where Stoicism truly shines. The Stoics teach us to concentrate on what's within our control and to let go of what isn't. So instead of obsessing over how others perceive you, focus on how you show up, your behavior, your character, your principles. This shift in mindset won't just increase your confidence, it will also make you much more attractive, because people can sense when someone is at peace with themselves. Always remember, true confidence is quiet. You don't need to announce your achievements or seek validation. Just be present, be real, and stay internally calm. People naturally gravitate toward those who exude this kind of self-assured, centered energy. Now let's move on to the second habit. Tranquility. Tranquility is an incredibly magnetic quality. When you're calm, you send out signals of security and stability, and that's something many people find deeply attractive. Epictetus, another brilliant Stoic thinker, once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This powerful idea teaches us the importance of staying composed and emotionally balanced, no matter what's going on around us. That kind of poise is a true sign of strength. So how can we cultivate more tranquility in our lives? One highly effective method is to practice mindful breathing. When you feel anxious, overwhelmed, or emotionally unsettled, take a pause. Focus on your breath. Inhale deeply through your nose. Let your lungs fill with air, then slowly exhale through your mouth. Repeat this a few times until you feel your mind begin to settle. This simple act of breathwork can instantly bring you back into a state of presence and peace. Another essential practice is learning to accept what you cannot control. Stoicism reminds us that many events in life, like the weather, traffic, or other people's opinions, are outside our influence. So instead of wasting energy getting frustrated, choose acceptance. Ask yourself, is this within my control? If the answer is no, then let it go. This habit of surrendering to what is can not only reduce your stress, it can also give you a quiet, grounded aura that draws people in. Your sense of tranquility also shows up in your body language. Standing tall with relaxed shoulders, steady eye contact, and slow, purposeful movements sends a message of calm and self-possession. Even without words, your demeanor can tell the world, "I am at peace, I am centered." And that's what makes you so attractive in silence. You're not chasing approval, you're not trying to impress. You are simply grounded in who you are. And that stillness, it speaks louder than words ever could. Your gestures and movements should be slow, intentional, and free from haste or nervousness. Maintain eye contact with others, but do so in a natural and effortless way. Never force it. All these subtle cues send a powerful message that you are at ease with yourself and with your surroundings. Calmness is not just a state of mind, it's a visible expression of inner control. When someone displays serenity, it signals that they are not only in command of their emotions, but also able to influence the environment around them. People are naturally drawn to those who can remain composed amidst turmoil because they radiate safety and confidence. Always remember that being calm does not mean being indifferent. It means maintaining a peaceful presence and exercising mastery over your emotional state. This quiet composure speaks volumes about your character without a single word. Let's now move to the third habit: presence. Presence is one of those intangible qualities that can be hard to describe but unmistakable when witnessed. It's the ability to be fully engaged in the current moment, to be truly involved with the people and situations right in front of you. The Stoic philosopher Seneca once remarked, "To be everywhere is to be nowhere." This profound statement highlights how dividing your focus among too many things ultimately means you're not giving your full attention to anything. Presence is the art of giving your undivided awareness to the here and now. To nurture this presence, begin by practicing active listening. When someone speaks to you, truly listen. Don't mentally rehearse your response or allow your eyes to wander toward your phone. Simply listen, and do it sincerely. This alone will make you appear more thoughtful and attentive, while also allowing for deeper human connection. Another essential aspect of presence is being consciously aware of your environment. Observe the details of your surroundings, the expressions, the subtle shifts in energy, not just with your eyes, but with deliberate attention. This level of observation grounds you in the present and helps you react more genuinely to what unfolds around you. Mindfulness is another powerful way to develop presence. It means engaging in your daily tasks with full consciousness. Something as ordinary as drinking tea can become a grounding ritual. Instead of hastily gulping it down, take the time to notice its aroma, savor the taste, and feel the warmth in your hands. These seemingly small practices train your mind to stay rooted in the now. Presence also manifests through your body language. Keep your posture open and relaxed. Show genuine interest through your gestures and facial expressions. Avoid fidgeting or appearing distracted. These are signs that your mind is somewhere else. When you are truly present, people feel it. They sense that they matter to you and that your attention is authentic. This kind of interaction creates stronger, more meaningful connections, which are vital to building genuine appeal. Remember, being present doesn't mean dominating the spotlight. It means being fully tuned in to the moment and to those around you. It's a quiet power that conveys both respect and attentiveness, and it's incredibly compelling. Now we move to the fourth habit: integrity. Integrity is one of those foundational virtues that always stands out, even when unspoken. It's about living in harmony with your principles and values, being truthful, consistent, and reliable in everything you do. Epictetus once said, "First, say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." This quote emphasizes the necessity of aligning your actions with your beliefs. Integrity can't be faked. It must be deeply rooted within your character. To develop integrity, you must first become aware of your own values. What truly matters to you? What principles do you want to guide your life? Take time to reflect on these questions and ensure that your daily actions reflect your answers. When your behavior aligns with your inner beliefs, you naturally exude authenticity, which is inherently attractive. Another essential part of integrity is honesty, not just with others, but also with yourself. This means being able to acknowledge your mistakes and choosing to learn from them. People admire those who have the courage to face their flaws and are committed to personal growth. Being truthful frees you from the exhausting burden of maintaining false appearances and allows you to live with ease and sincerity. Integrity also means keeping your word. If you promise to do something, follow through. Reliability earns trust, and consistency builds a strong reputation. Being someone who can be counted on is a rare and valuable quality, and one that makes you stand out. It shows that you are dependable, stable, and worthy of respect. Lastly, integrity shines through in how you treat others. Approach every person with kindness and respect, regardless of who they are or what they can offer you. This behavior reveals your character more than words ever could. It creates an atmosphere of mutual trust and dignity. When you live a life rooted in integrity, you become someone guided by unwavering principles. People are drawn to honesty and genuineness because these traits foster trust and admiration. Ultimately, becoming someone who others can trust and respect is one of the most powerful ways to increase your silent influence. These qualities reflect emotional maturity and a stable character, something that naturally draws others in. Now, let's move forward with the fifth habit, self-restraint. Self-restraint, also known as self-control, is a vital quality that not only enhances your personal appeal, but also reveals a profound inner strength. In a world where many people react impulsively, someone who can exhibit self-restraint stands out significantly. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most respected Stoic emperors, once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This timeless wisdom reminds us that while we cannot control everything happening around us, we do have control over how we respond to those events. So, how do we cultivate self-restraint? The first step is learning to recognize your emotions without allowing them to overpower you. When you find yourself in a tense or triggering situation, take a brief pause to breathe deeply and observe your feelings before responding. This simple act can help you remain composed and prevent you from doing or saying something that you might later regret. Another essential way to nurture self-restraint is by practicing patience. In our fast-paced world, where instant gratification is often the norm, learning to wait can become a powerful form of discipline. Patience reflects the ability to delay immediate desires in pursuit of something more meaningful and enduring. It's a quiet strength that shows you're not controlled by your impulses. Moderation is also a critical part of self-restraint. This doesn't mean you must deny yourself the things you enjoy. It means finding a healthy balance. Whether it's food, social media, or any other form of pleasure, practicing moderation allows you to stay in control rather than becoming consumed by indulgence. Self-restraint also shows itself in how we handle criticism and conflict. Instead of reacting with defensiveness or anger, strive to listen actively and consider other people's perspectives. Responding calmly and thoughtfully not only reflects emotional maturity, but also portrays you as someone who is trustworthy and respectful. It's important to remember that self-restraint is not about suppressing emotions, but about managing them effectively. It signals that you have control over yourself, a trait that is immensely attractive. People naturally admire those who can remain composed and respond with thoughtfulness in all situations. Now, let's continue with the sixth habit, gratitude. Gratitude is a powerful virtue that can change both your life and the way others perceive you. Too often we focus on what we lack or desire, overlooking the many blessings we already have. The Stoics emphasize the importance of appreciating what's in front of us. Seneca once said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." This quote teaches us that true wealth lies in valuing what we have, not in endlessly chasing more. Gratitude shifts our mindset toward positivity and helps us cultivate an inner sense of peace and contentment. So, how can we actively develop a grateful heart? One effective method is to keep a gratitude journal. Set aside a few minutes each day to write down 3 things you are thankful for. These could be small moments, like the sun shining through your window, or significant blessings like the health of a loved one. This simple practice helps train your mind to notice and appreciate the good around you. Gratitude can also be expressed in everyday interactions. Be thankful for the people around you, from family and friends to strangers who assist you throughout the day. A sincere thank you may seem small, but it can leave a lasting impression and show others that you truly value their efforts and presence. Another meaningful way to practice gratitude is through daily reflection. Take a moment each day to think about the good things that happened. Even on hard days, seek out at least one positive detail. This consistent attitude of thankfulness makes you more positive and optimistic, traits that naturally attract others. When you embody gratitude, you radiate a kind of energy that draws people in. Those around you feel uplifted and appreciated, sensing your deep appreciation for life. Furthermore, a grateful attitude builds resilience by helping you focus on what's still good, even during tough times. Gratitude is more than just saying thank you. It's about living with a deep sense of appreciation and recognizing the value in both the big and small parts of life. It not only brings more joy and satisfaction to your life, but it also makes you more appealing and pleasant to be around. Now, let's move on to the 7th habit, humility. Humility is a virtue that is often misunderstood, yet it holds incredible power. Being humble doesn't mean thinking less of yourself. It means thinking of yourself less and being more mindful of others. Epictetus once said, "It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows." This quote reminds us that humility is essential for personal growth and continuous learning. True humility involves acknowledging that we don't have all the answers and that there is always something new to understand. It's the openness to learn, the willingness to listen, and the courage to admit when we're wrong. These qualities don't make you weak, they make you wise. Humility creates space for growth, connection, and meaningful relationships. In a world where ego often dominates, a humble person stands out, not through loudness or showiness, but through quiet strength and grounded confidence. It's not about downplaying your worth, but about lifting others up while staying rooted in who you truly are. True wisdom is not about thinking less of ourselves, but rather thinking less about ourselves and more about others. As Epictetus, the great Stoic philosopher, said, "It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows." This powerful quote emphasizes that humility is a crucial part of growth. It involves acknowledging that there is always something to learn, and it is an acceptance that we do not hold all the answers. This mindset opens the door to continuous learning, personal development, and the deepening of wisdom. So, how do we cultivate humility? First, we must embrace the fact that we don't know everything. This is often one of the hardest lessons to learn, especially in a world that pressures us to appear knowledgeable or expert in everything. But recognizing and admitting our limitations does not make us weak. Rather, it makes us more approachable and open to learning. It also invites new opportunities for personal growth. Another way to nurture humility is by listening more than we speak. Giving others the opportunity to share their experiences and insights without interrupting or imposing our own perspectives is a powerful practice. True listening comes with the intention to understand, not merely to respond. This kind of deep listening demonstrates respect and consideration for others, which is an essential aspect of humility. Humility also manifests in how we treat others, regardless of their status or position. Every person we encounter has a unique story and valuable experiences to offer. When we treat everyone with equal respect and dignity, it shows that we appreciate people for who they are, not for what they can do for us. This attitude fosters a sense of equality and understanding, making it incredibly attractive because it conveys genuine appreciation for others. It is also important to learn from our mistakes. Nobody is perfect, and everyone makes mistakes, but how we respond to them makes all the difference. Instead of defending ourselves or making excuses, practicing humility means admitting when we are wrong and showing a willingness to learn and improve. This ability to be vulnerable and honest about our failures reflects great strength, not weakness. When we consistently practice humility, we become more approachable and authentic. People feel comfortable around us because they don't have to worry about impressing or competing with us. Humility creates a space of acceptance and understanding, which in turn makes us more relatable and trustworthy. It is essential to remember that humility is not a sign of weakness. On the contrary, it signifies true strength and self-assurance. Humility forms the foundation of a life rich in meaningful relationships and personal growth. Moving on, we come to patience, which is another virtue that, although often underestimated, has a profound effect on how we are perceived by others and how we navigate our daily lives. Seneca, a renowned Stoic philosopher, said, "Time reveals the truth." This timeless piece of wisdom reminds us that good things often take time, and the clarity and truth we seek are typically unveiled through patience and perseverance. Patience is the ability to wait calmly without frustration, accepting that things take time and remaining composed during that waiting period. To cultivate patience, the first step is to shift our perspective on time and expectations. We live in an era of instant gratification where everything seems to be at our fingertips. However, the most valuable things in life usually require time, effort, and careful consideration. Acknowledging this reality is the first step in developing patience. Another effective way to practice patience is through mindfulness and meditation. These practices help us remain present in the moment and resist the urge to rush ahead toward the future. When we feel impatience creeping in, taking a moment to breathe deeply and focus on the present can help center our minds. Regular meditation can train us to be more patient and less reactive to the stresses of life. Furthermore, we can practice patience in our daily lives by engaging in simple acts such as waiting in line without reaching for our phones, listening intently to someone without interrupting, or completing a task without rushing. These small acts of patience may seem insignificant, but over time they accumulate and strengthen our ability to remain patient in larger, more important situations. It is essential to remember that patience is not just about waiting, it is about how we wait. Maintaining a positive attitude and staying calm during moments of waiting demonstrates maturity, self-control, and inner strength. People are naturally attracted to those who can handle waiting with grace and calmness because it indicates confidence in the process and trust in the timing of life. When we embody patience, we project an image of someone who is balanced, confident, and in control of themselves. Have you ever found yourself in a relationship that slowly chips away at your peace, your confidence, and your sense of self-worth? In today's video, we're going to uncover 9 unmistakable signs that it may be time to cut ties completely, even if that person is someone close to you, like a friend or a family member. Picture this. Is there someone in your life who consistently makes you feel guilty, judged, or as though your value depends solely on how much you please them? As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Setting boundaries and creating distance isn't selfish. It's a vital act of self-respect and protection for your inner peace. This video is designed to help you not only identify these toxic patterns, but also to equip you with the tools and confidence to confront them without guilt and without second-guessing yourself. Make sure to stay with me until the very end, because I'll be revealing one of the most subtle yet widespread signs of a damaging relationship, one that many people overlook, and I'll share how you can liberate yourself from it for good. Before we dive in, if you find these insights valuable, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any future content that empowers your spirit and transforms your relationships for the better. Now, let's begin this important journey of reclaiming your freedom, your dignity, and the peace of mind you truly deserve. First, avoid people who are unwilling to spend money. Have you ever encountered someone whose first comment to you always seems to revolve around not having enough money? At first, it's easy to feel sympathy, especially if you believe they're going through a tough time. But strangely, these individuals often enjoy a fairly comfortable lifestyle, taking trips, indulging in hobbies, and spending on their own pleasures. Yet, when it comes to you or any shared commitment, they suddenly claim financial limitations to avoid responsibility or avoid giving back. This isn't about struggling with poverty. It's about intentional behavior. If you've experienced this, pause and reflect. This is not a sign of a balanced or authentic connection. I once had a friend just like this. Every time we planned an activity together, he would find a reason related to money to back out. But I noticed that he had no problem spending on expensive clothes or impressing others. One day, when he backed out of a trip we had both been excited about, I realized the issue wasn't money. It was the lack of value he placed on our time together. That was the turning point for me. I understood then that such relationships cannot thrive because they aren't built on fairness or genuine care. Whether it's with friends, family members, or romantic partners, every healthy relationship is rooted in mutual giving and shared respect. If you constantly find yourself giving while the other person continually takes, with no sign of effort to reciprocate, then you're carrying the weight of an unbalanced and emotionally draining connection. Always remember, fulfilling relationships are based on mutual respect, equality, and heartfelt care. If someone only sees you as a resource to be used rather than a person to be valued, don't hesitate to establish firm boundaries or even step away entirely. Your life deserves to be surrounded by connections that offer joy, empathy, and sincere appreciation. Second, Avoid people who frequently argue and expect you to take sides. Have you ever felt trapped in a relationship where every conversation seems to spiral into conflict? That's exactly what it feels like to deal with someone who constantly seeks out arguments. These individuals don't just stir up unnecessary drama, they also pull you into it, forcing you to choose a side in their personal battles. They bring turbulence into every interaction, draining not just their own energy, but also yours. I once had a friend who outwardly appeared confident, but whenever a disagreement came up, even over something small, he'd immediately escalate it into a full-blown argument. One time, during a casual gathering with friends while we were discussing travel plans, a minor difference of opinion arose. He suddenly turned to me and demanded that I back him up in front of everyone. That experience changed our friendship forever. I realized then that anyone who thrives on conflict and pressures others to align with them makes it impossible to maintain a peaceful or balanced relationship. Constant arguing doesn't indicate strength or intelligence. It's often a symptom of emotional immaturity and insecurity. People who argue for the sake of control or validation sabotage not only their relationships, but also their own personal development. A truly wise person doesn't feel the need to win every disagreement. They prioritize peace, understanding, and resolution. If you find yourself caught in endless cycles of conflict or regularly dragged into disputes that aren't yours to fight, take a moment to reflect. Cultivating calmness in your life protects your relationships and shields your inner peace. In the end, the most valuable treasures in life are not found in drama or debate, but in peaceful connections and a quiet, steady mind. Third, avoid people who dismiss or minimize the worries of others. In the journey of life, each of us carries our own distinct set of burdens, no two alike. The worries we bear, the joys we experience, and the sorrows we endure cannot be compared on any universal scale. Yet one of the most disheartening experiences in life is when we open up about our struggles, only to be met with people who not only downplay our pain, but also amplify their own as if theirs are more significant. This kind of reaction isn't just inconsiderate. It undermines trust and slowly eats away at the very foundation of any relationship. I remember a time when I shared with a longtime friend how overwhelmed I felt trying to balance work while caring for my aging parents. Rather than offering a moment of empathy or even a listening ear, he brushed aside my concerns and quickly shifted the conversation to talk about how stressed he was at work, as if my reality was invisible. That moment didn't just leave me disappointed, it left a deep emotional bruise. It taught me something crucial. Meaningful relationships can only thrive when both people make an effort to genuinely listen and value each other's challenges as much as they'd like their own to be acknowledged. True respect isn't found in grand, sweeping gestures. It lives in the smallest actions, thanking someone sincerely for their help or offering a heartfelt apology when you've caused pain. These simple words, when spoken with sincerity, go far beyond social niceties. They form the bedrock of strong and lasting human connections. It's important to step away from people who lack this kind of gratitude. If someone cannot celebrate your wins or empathize with your struggles, if they find amusement in your pain, that reveals not only a lack of compassion, but a deep, unsettling indifference. We may not have control over how others behave, but we do have control over who we allow into our inner circle. Choose relationships rooted in mutual respect, kindness, and sincerity. Keep company with those who rejoice in your happiness, comfort you in your grief, and genuinely wish you well. Taking joy in someone else's suffering doesn't just hurt them, it chips away at your own humanity. Living with empathy and compassion won't just help you build meaningful relationships, it will lead you to a life full of purpose and depth, a life truly worth living. Equally important is to steer clear of individuals who try to impose their religious or political beliefs on you. No two people are exactly the same, and that diversity is part of what makes human relationships so rich and meaningful. Real connection is not about forcing others to adopt your worldview, but about recognizing and appreciating differences while building common ground from them. Still, some people feel compelled to constantly push their beliefs on others, be it spiritual, ideological, or political. And this kind of behavior is not only draining, it can fracture relationships beyond repair. I once had a close friend who, with every conversation, felt the need to convince me that his way of life was the only right one. At first, I tried to engage in thoughtful discussions and defended my own beliefs, hoping for mutual understanding. But after each interaction, I found myself emotionally exhausted. Nothing changed. No progress was made. The debates became repetitive, more about ego than insight. And I eventually realized that these exchanges were only driving a wedge between us. Arguments rooted in the need to be right often do nothing but create distance and resentment. Even when you win such an argument, the sense of victory is fleeting and usually comes at the cost of another person's dignity. The most damaging consequence isn't the disagreement itself, but the subtle emotional wounds and the growing disconnect it causes. Truly wise individuals don't argue simply to be right. They listen, they empathize, and they understand when it's best to step back. Real success in a relationship isn't found in overpowering the other person's views. It's found in conquering your own pride to nurture mutual respect and harmony. Letting go of the need to always be right doesn't make you weak. It makes you peaceful. That's a reward no argument can ever give. If you've stayed with me this far, leave a comment below saying peacefulness, so I know you're on this journey with me. Together, let's keep learning, growing, and creating lives filled with meaning and emotional clarity. Finally, recognize when a friendship starts making you feel uneasy or drained. If being around someone consistently leaves you feeling distressed, it's time to reconsider that relationship. Sometimes the people who once brought you joy, laughter, and unforgettable memories begin to feel distant. Not necessarily because you or they did something wrong, but simply because life has taken you both in different directions. Growth changes us. As we evolve, so do our interests, values, and perspectives. There was a story a colleague once shared about his childhood friend. They had spent countless cherished moments together, from going to the movies and playing sports to dreaming about their future. But over time, something shifted. Conversations began to feel forced. Meetings became more of a chore than a joy. What once flowed effortlessly now felt strained. That's not necessarily a tragedy. It's a natural part of life's rhythm. Not all relationships are meant to last forever. Some serve a beautiful purpose for a time and then quietly fade as we grow. Recognizing this isn't an act of betrayal, it's an act of self-respect. When a connection no longer brings peace, but instead brings anxiety or sadness, it's okay to let it go. Honor the good memories, but protect your present peace. Life is too short to keep holding on to relationships that no longer nourish your soul. I remember a story shared by a colleague. He spoke of a childhood friend, someone with whom he had created countless unforgettable memories, going to the movies together, playing sports, and imagining the futures they would one day build. But as time went on, life pulled them in different directions. One moved away to a new city, building a career and starting a family, while the other remained in their hometown, living a quieter, simpler life. Whenever they managed to reconnect, it just didn't feel the same. Their conversations became awkward, filled with polite small talk and a subtle undercurrent of unfamiliarity. My colleague admitted that he initially put in a lot of effort to keep the friendship alive, but the more he tried, the more he began to see that they had changed so much that the closeness they once had was no longer there. Eventually, he chose to step back, not because he stopped caring, but because he realized that letting go was the only respectful way to acknowledge the changes both of them had gone through. Relationships, he said, are like a dance. Both people need to move in sync for the connection to feel right. When the rhythm falls out of harmony, both dancers feel uncomfortable and tired. Rather than placing blame on himself or his friend, he chose to accept what had changed. Sometimes, stepping back is the wisest and kindest choice. It doesn't mean erasing someone from your story. It means allowing space for both people to continue growing, even if it's apart. A gentle goodbye can often be more healing than trying to force a bond that no longer fits. Life is a constant state of change, and relationships reflect that too. The key lies in knowing when to hold on and when it's time to move forward. Treasure the beautiful moments you've shared, but don't be afraid to let that relationship become a cherished memory. Sometimes, letting go isn't just an act of compassion for someone else, it's a sign of self-respect. There's also wisdom in steering clear of those who endlessly complain about themselves. Have you ever felt like an emotional trash can, the kind of person others come to just to unload all their sadness, frustrations, and constant negativity? Everyone needs someone to lean on now and then. We all go through difficult seasons. But there's a big difference between sharing from a place of mutual empathy and simply dumping emotions without care. I once had a friend named Sarah, a former colleague who I was once very close to. During a time when my mother became critically ill, I was overwhelmed, juggling the demands of work while being her primary caregiver. It was one of the most emotionally and physically exhausting times in my life. Yet Sarah came to me almost daily, not to offer comfort or check in on me, but to complain. She went on and on about how much she hated her job, how her boss treated her poorly, how her husband never helped her at home. And, despite my own state of distress, she never once asked how I was holding up. I tried gently to shift the conversation and express some of what I was going through, but she always found a way to redirect things back to herself. Each time I interacted with her, I walked away feeling emotionally depleted, and at times even guilty that I couldn't be more available for her. The final straw came shortly after my mother had undergone major surgery. Sarah called me, not to ask how things went, but to complain that I hadn't replied to her messages quickly enough. That was the moment I realized something had to change. I told her honestly, "Sarah, I can't do this anymore. I have too much on my plate, and I need the people around me to understand that and offer some support." There was a long silence. After that, the distance between us grew naturally. It hurt, but I knew it was necessary to protect my own well-being. Not every complaint needs to be voiced to others, and no one should be treated as an emotional dumping ground. If someone isn't truly looking for support or resolution, but merely offloading their pain onto you, it's okay to set boundaries. Learn to listen with intention, not obligation. Make room in your life for people who see your heart, not just your ears. True connection is built on mutual care, and sometimes the kindest thing you can do is to stop expecting others to be more than they are and start being gentler with yourself. Another type of person to avoid is someone who treats promises casually or breaks them without a second thought. Have you ever waited for someone who never arrived, offering only a weak excuse or no explanation at all? That moment when you realize you're not a priority to someone stings deeply. A promise isn't just words. It's a sign of respect, trust, and commitment. What's truly painful is when someone not only fails to follow through, but also seems to forget they ever made a commitment in the first place. That kind of carelessness doesn't just chip away at trust. It makes you feel like an afterthought, as though your time and feelings don't matter. I remember a time when I was sitting at my favorite coffee shop, waiting for a friend we had planned to meet. At first, I assumed she was simply delayed by traffic or caught up with something urgent. But after waiting for an entire hour, I finally received a message from her. "Totally forgot we had plans today, sorry." That simple message hit harder than she might have realized. This wasn't the first time something like this had happened, and in that moment, I had to face the truth. Continuing to tolerate this behavior was only hurting me. I knew she wasn't intentionally trying to cause harm, but her lack of attention, her failure to honor her word, said more than any apology ever could. When a relationship starts feeling like a constant emotional weight, when respect and mutual commitment are no longer present, it's a sign that it's time to take a hard look at what that connection truly brings into your life. Self-respect sometimes requires letting go of relationships that no longer add value or nourishment to your well-being. Healthy relationships are not built on empty promises or casual indifference. Listen closely to your emotions. They often whisper the truth before your mind catches up. You deserve to be in relationships where your presence is appreciated, where both sides make the effort to uplift one another. If someone consistently fails to meet that standard, don't be afraid to walk away. Every time you say no to people who don't value or respect you, you're actually opening the door for healthier, more fulfilling relationships to enter. Never forget, you are not just worthy of love, but you are also entitled to respect, not just in words, but through genuine actions. Avoid people who always bring up the same worries. Have you ever noticed how, when some people express their concerns to you, it doesn't seem like they're really seeking a solution? Instead, they just want temporary comfort, a moment of relief from their own mental chaos. This isn't necessarily wrong. The need to share and feel understood is deeply human. But if you find yourself stuck in conversations with someone who keeps repeating the same complaints, never taking any steps toward change, or even brushing off your well-intentioned advice, then it may be time to consider what that pattern is doing to both of you. There was a time when I had a former colleague who often approached me just to vent about work. At first, I thought she simply needed a safe space to air out her frustrations, so I listened patiently and even went out of my way to offer clear, practical suggestions to help her make things better. But again and again, she dismissed the advice and circled right back to the same complaints in every single conversation. Over time, it became clear she wasn't truly interested in changing her situation. She only wanted someone to echo her worries, not challenge her to rise above them. Eventually, I took a different approach. I gently told her that I valued our connection, but I was starting to feel like we were stuck in an endless loop. I told her, "If you genuinely want to make things better, I'm here for you. But that first step has to come from you." She didn't respond well. Still, deep down, I knew I had done the right thing. Listening to others is a powerful expression of compassion. But when it's done without any movement toward resolution, it slowly depletes the emotional energy of everyone involved. If you truly care for someone, sometimes the kindest thing you can do is to speak truth, even if it's uncomfortable. Real friendships aren't built on surface-level comfort. They're grounded in honest support and mutual growth. Remember, kindness isn't just about being a soft shoulder. It's also about helping someone confront their own barriers, even when it means being firm. Avoid people who boast excessively. You've probably encountered someone who, no matter the topic, finds a way to steer the conversation back to their past accomplishments. They talk about their former successes like they're the only parts of their life that matter, as if those moments are their entire identity. At first, it may seem impressive, even inspiring, but over time, you begin to see through it. These stories aren't just tales of pride, they're often a shield, hiding an inner emptiness or a lack of purpose in the present. I once knew a man who never missed an opportunity to talk about the prestigious awards he had won years ago. He would repeat every detail of his achievements with so much flair. But when it came to discussing his current life, he would always dodge the conversation or change the subject. It became clear he was stuck in a time when he felt most valuable, clinging to his old glory as if it were the only thing keeping him afloat. What saddened me the most was that instead of inspiring admiration, his behavior started pushing people away. It's important to understand that constantly reliving past victories doesn't enhance how others see you. In fact, it can have the opposite effect, making those around you feel unseen or less significant. A person who is truly confident and content doesn't need to advertise their achievements. Their presence speaks for itself, grounded in the now, not shackled to the past. Let your present life, your actions, your attitude, your growth be the true reflection of your worth. Humility not only makes you more relatable, but also builds deeper, more authentic relationships based on mutual respect and real connection. As the old saying goes, silence is golden, and those who understand its power often turn out to be the ones most deeply respected. I'd love to hear about your journey, your victories, your struggles, and how you've grown through them. Please hit subscribe, tap the notification bell, and leave a comment below. Share your story, your strength, or just write peacefulness to let us know you made it through this reflection. Your engagement is what keeps this community thriving, a place where we grow together, learn from one another, and discover the art of transforming every challenge into an opportunity. I've also linked 2 more videos here, so feel free to keep watching and stay on the path of personal growth and empowerment. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you in the next video.